Good evening, everybody. I think it's a proper start this time. Let me just take a quick second on the quality options. Looks like we got those. So as always, I will get rid of Chrome before it takes every last resource on my computer, and we'll be able to jump into the game. As usual, if you are watching on YouTube, and it does seem to be that there is an appetite for Age of Wonders Planetfall, so I'm very happy that... I'll admit I'm very happy that I like this game so much because it's nice when there's an alignment between the game and a potential audience. But I do appreciate that it's frustrating to have to deal with. There's actually a couple things. So one, it's frustrating to have to deal with people taking a while to get into it. Now, I think most of you kind of already know my style, and I certainly take a while to say certain things, so I think I might have a little goodwill like that. But if you're looking to get on with it, as always, I'll try to keep it within 10 minutes. Now, the game's currently up on my other monitor, so let's see if I can solve that. Okay, looking better. I also want to get the basic... Actually, okay, so I'm going to have to say this twice now because I told people to skip over the 10 minutes potentially, but I'm about to say something that everybody should know. Obviously, I was given a key for Age of Wonders Planetfall by Paradox or Triumph. I was also given keys for Revelations and Invasions, and it seems that when they gave me the Invasions key, it was just a Season Pass key, which I'm certainly very happy about because I like this game a lot. And it means that I'm able to continue streaming it for you. But as always, there is sort of there's the interest at stake in terms of the sense that I was given this for promotional purposes. I didn't have to pay for the game. And of course, I do have the Humble link. I don't promote the Humble link all that often, but it is one there. So if you do wind up using that Humble link, there is also a financial incentive if you wind up picking up that game. On that note, and this is where the housekeeping comes in, the Epic affiliate program is open again. So some of you may be interested in applying for that. They're quite a bit more transparent about the requirements. It is very likely that I am going to close my membership with that affiliate program. It's actually probably, in my opinion, it is the best of them. However, they have introduced a change where basically so there's an eligibility requirement for sort of the continued involvement in the program, and I don't. One, I can't, and two, I don't really want to speak about the particulars for it. But I do sort of wonder whether or not I can continue to be eligible. Sort of over time. I know some people don't like using the Epic Store and they prefer going on Steam. That's completely fine. But while it is the one that I think, dollar for dollar, I think it's the one that most people wind up using and the one that has sort of generated the most revenue for me. However, I'm also a little conscious of the fact that a lot of the things that are really appealing on the Epic Store right now have basically been sort of timed Epic exclusives. And while there is going to be sort of a track record of sort of future material, let's say, so right now we've got Phantom Brigade and Industries of Titan, and of course the Darkest Dungeon 2 is going to be on Epic along with Outlast Trials. I think the fact of the matter is that more and more of the stuff that I'm very likely going to be playing is going to be available on Steam, and so to a certain extent I have to think about whether or not it's sustainable for me to still stay involved in that program when people have the option to buy on Steam, because it does sort of seem to be that if given the option, people do like supporting the stream, but they would prefer to buy a game on Steam on their own, which is completely fair, because as I've always said, like the best way to support a broadcast is to just, donate directly. The idea of having affiliate links is to convert purchases that would already happen into something that winds up sort of subsidizing the costs of running the broadcast. If it is inconvenient for you to use the Epic launcher, then I'm not really sure I get enough out of that to really justify inconveniencing you. So again, it's a really good program if you're a streamer and you think that you're comfortable with the eligibility requirements and effectively sort of what happens if you are below a certain threshold after a year in the program. It is something you might want to consider, but I should maybe let you know if you are planning on using that affiliate link, I would get those in now because I may not be moving forward with that in the future. I did also mention the last couple of weeks I've not been sleeping all that well, and particularly on Mondays, that sort of is where I suffer for the kind of the indiscretions of the weekend, and today is no different. So I've got some very strong tea here, and I did make sure that I had a proper dinner. Fish. Oh, I love fish. But it is maybe worth saying that I suspect a lot of the stuff that I've been botching in the last couple of streams, I'm still going to continue to botch. And then again, I'm actually making some reasonable time as far as the housekeeping and whatnot is concerned. But maybe a couple of other details to mention. I've got my VODs recorded, so there will be another episode of The Elder Scrolls Morrowind. More big progress on that one. And I'm actually really looking forward to... sort of seeing the big finales for a lot of these things. So that is up on YouTube. So, sorry, it's uploaded to YouTube now. It will be made available tomorrow at 7 o'clock. It is currently being processed on Twitch. So I am always a little nervous whenever I see the processing sign, because Twitch does not distinguish between a properly uploaded video and one that will just process in perpetuity and is basically a result of a failed upload. So I'll keep an eye on that, but there should be a Morrowind episode happening tomorrow. For Wednesday, I'm planning... there's actually a couple of dilemmas that I've got now. So I've talked about this a couple of times during Phantom Brigade. I love that game so much. But I believe there is going to be a new update for Industries of Titan, and so it may not be a bad time for me to check out that game again. I'll probably figure that out on Wednesday and just leave it to Twitter rather than make that decision today. And I figure probably for Wednesday and Friday, it's probably just going to be brace yourself time for a while. And in fact, there's a lot of Age of Wonders Planetfall for me to get through. But I think maybe when I'm done with Age of Wonders Planetfall, if what seems to be happening happens, if basically if it seems like kind of I won't be getting keys from Paradox in the future, I may actually make it so that some of the Brace Yourself stuff, or maybe some of the Kitfox stuff, gets a little more attention on the Mondays. We'll see. There's still plenty to do. So I'm not quite going to lock in any decisions there. My only regret is I just want to take a look at my list. So there were 4 games on my to-do list. I wasn't expecting to have them all done by the end of the year, but I may not get to any of them by the end of December, depending on how things go. But as long as you guys like Age of Wonders Planetfall, as long as you like Phantom Brigade, there's certainly a lot of fun stuff coming up, in my opinion. And I feel like there was another detail I was sitting on. Oh yes, a new Cultist Simulator episode. So I actually have been taking a small break from recording Cultist Simulator episodes because I've noticed that I'm getting some very nice feedback from people. But I do have this one dilemma, which is so as much as I like the feedback, I have the problem where because I recorded so many episodes in advance, I had like somebody could give a recommendation from like the first or second episode, and I wouldn't actually be able to have any action on it until 5 or 6 episodes later. So what I did, I think the one that's coming up on this Wednesday, that should become available at 6 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday. This is just on YouTube. I think that one I sort of say, here are the settings I'm working with. I feel pretty comfortable about these. If there's something that's not working for you, let me know. And then I'm going to pick it up from there. So, again, there's always going to be at least one Cultist simulator on the Wednesdays sort of moving forward. But, again, YouTube. But, I thought it may not be a bad idea for me to just sort of plant a flag, let people know, hey, this is a good time to let me know about this stuff before I start going like months in advance in terms of pre-recorded videos. And then once I'm back on track with that, I can see whether or not the material works. So we're at the 10-minute mark, so I'll be doing some gameplay, but I did, as I mentioned, for those of you who were here a little bit earlier, I did screw up by telling people to fast forward ahead if they wanted the gameplay, because I didn't do the usual disclosure, which was I was given a key for this game for promotional purposes, both the base game and the DLC, particularly the Revelations and Invasions DLC, but the Invasions DLC seems to come with the Season Pass. So while I didn't explicitly ask for Star Kings, I certainly was given it for promotional purposes, and it is good for me to disclose that sort of thing. And I try to get a little bit better in terms of mentioning that over time as people come in, but it's always challenging to find out when people have joined the stream or not. I always kind of just go on the basis of the kind of the delta that you see in the viewership number, which I know Streamlabs isn't always very good at reporting. So, what we have got here, I feel reasonably secure in terms of having, Damaster. It's not that we're unassailable. I have been doing a little bit of cleanup for a few of the other sectors. So I think we've actually already got the Code Word Intelligence Complex. I think we need to pick up some goodies there, and I think this unit's basically just going to be doing some training. By sort of taking out the growth nodes. It does seem that they don't generate quite as rapidly as I thought they might. But basically, I'm buying Damaster a little bit more time as my unit pushes out the kind of the frontier, and eventually what's going to happen is this is going to have a top tier military infrastructure. It's not going to have to worry about people coming in and coming after them. And at that point, we can focus on production. There's actually a rather good bonus that I get from the Sai Shrine, which I haven't been exploiting yet. Townsend Folly, I believe for that one we are going to be working on building up some extra units, but I did want to make sure that I was getting some of my my existing upgrades in. I've also been ignoring the standard military infrastructure for Townsend Folly, and I think at this point here it's clear that I do need to be focusing on protecting what I have. So while we do have a new set of units in the area, and certainly I'm happy to have Rascal coming in and being a little bit more aggressive with their actions, I do have some other priorities for Townsend Folly to work with. And the plan was to go up to Touché and see if I would kind of be able to sort things out with my main stack. So Rascal stays still. We make the next turn count. Night Valian, hello son, are you a wonder? That's a good question. Apparently there's more than one wonder in the game, so it is the Age of Wonders, so maybe. I haven't really thought about it. You know what, I'll become a wonder when I'm at 600 reputation. It's great to see you though, Night Valian. If you don't mind, I'm going to put a pause on your shout out. I will mention, for those of you, actually, you know what, it doesn't matter. I will do the text shout out, but I'll maybe save the words for when there's a little bit more of a pulse inside of chat, because as much as I like saying nice things about people, it's not idle talk. It is specifically to give people an idea of why I think people are worth watching. So don't even worry about it. I don't know. I like your stuff. I don't do that for everyone. It seems like it. But there's a couple of people who know, actually. I don't want to say a code. Like there's nothing too crazy going on inside of it. But I there's a couple of people who've gotten to know a little bit about the thinking behind it. So I don't know. It's something I like doing. I also think to a certain extent on Twitch, the rhetoric always gets amped up. So it's not enough to be good anymore. You got to be the best ever, because everything is the best ever. And it's like when I'm at work. I had one of the best managers I've ever had. The problem is she's really good, and so always winds up like going to other departments. But I remember when she came back after a whole bunch of changes had come in from systems that she set up, and she's like looking at this list of priorities, like, so what's this? Oh, that's a high priority. It's like, what's this? That's a high priority. What's this? It's a high priority. And she's like, when everything is a high priority, nothing is a high priority, and like just deleted the column in the spreadsheet. I was like, oh God, it is so good to have her back. So, but yeah, it's one of these things here where like if everything on Twitch is the best ever, and particularly if you have larger content creators which by the way, I really hate the term content creator, but that's another conversation for another day. But basically, if you have people with very large audiences and a certain degree of capture in terms of people's behavior, one of the things that I can do as a smaller broadcaster is to be able to take the time, go to the micro level, and say, why do I think this person is interesting? You don't have to work if you delete the entire spreadsheet. Oh yeah, no, she would have been an even better manager if she just said there was no more work to do. I hate the word influencer. Whoever came up with that needs to punch. I can understand influencer in the specific sense that this is ultimately what people are doing. It's not necessarily the best term. It's not one that I would necessarily want to apply to myself, but I can at least see that, like, as a verb, this person is being picked up for their ability to sway opinion or otherwise bring people's attention to a product. The thing I don't like about a content creator is that I am always sorry guys, you are going to hear this rant after all. The thing that really bugs me about content creator is this. I like to think that I do my best with the material that I do. I try to make this so that I am adding some value to the game. It may not be everyone's cup of tea. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I think that in the grand scheme of things, I am able to say about the stuff that I do that I try and put something of myself in the game and make it more than just you're watching the game sort of being passively played. And I do think, like, that's not unique to me, right? I think there's a lot of people that do that. However, there is a very uneasy relationship between streaming and the products underlying it, right? I didn't make Age of Wonders Planetfall. I am producing a derived work from somebody else's very significant effort. And I don't. What's interesting is I don't call game developers content creators. I don't call community managers who generate a lot of, in fact, generate very similar things to what I do and usually do a better job of that. I don't call them content creators. The term content creator seems to exist purely to let people like me feel okay that effectively what I've done is trampled on someone's intellectual property rights and have started talking over their game in a derived work. And that doesn't mean that I should stop doing it. Obviously, if I felt I should stop doing it, I'd stop doing it. But, content creator is certainly it doesn't really mean a whole lot. And then number two, I do think there's a bit of intentional obfuscation that goes on in the creation of it. So came for Planetfall, stayed for the rants. Yeah. And I know a lot of people will disagree with that. Streamers, I've noticed, tend not to like it when you say that they're anything other than awesome. I mean, you guys saw how I treated the guy at the end of Friday's broadcast. I don't know. I actually don't feel all that. I feel bad for the people who weren't being a jackass. I didn't feel bad for the guy, but yeah, like streamers really don't like you really get a sense of insecurity from some streamers whenever you talk about this sort of stuff, because it's one where it's like, you don't know how hard I work on all this. I'm like, yeah, you can work hard and still create nonsense. I mean, I work hard at this stuff and it's still not great. But I don't know. I just feel like there are better like, I don't even see what's wrong with streamer, to be honest, but oh yeah, for sure, Night Valiant 28. I can tell you some behind the scenes stories, not on Twitch because that would, like, not here, but I can tell you how some of the big ones behave when a game that's bigger than them says no. Like, if you think I'm bad about, like, being... So the reason I'm annoyed about the Paradox thing was that a lot of you know me for years for playing that. And I object less to the fact that I'm not getting the keys. I object to the fact that, like, people stopped responding to my emails. There's a difference between, like, saying we're going in a different direction and just ghosting someone. And that's definitely... That was kind of where I kind of took that rather... I don't want to say personally, but I definitely... That was a bit of a blow to me. And I think to a certain extent it is a little irritating to have put so many years into something, particularly when, you know, like, not a lot of people were doing Imperator Rome after it first came out because it was really unpopular, and I definitely stuck with that as long as I could. But then to kind of have that turned around and being like, well, you're not big enough for this. I'm like, well, you know what? There's a reason why the numbers aren't as good as... Yeah. This is the worst kind of person you met in life. You tell them no, they just hate you for. Yeah, like, that's a big one. I've actually heard lots of no's from other people. I actually really respect it when other people just say no, because that lets me make plans. It's when people don't answer, or when people give you an evasive answer, that it actually becomes really difficult. And I think, you know, I'm definitely not entitled to a key, but I think if someone, you know... I think at least being able to say in an email, you know, our standards have changed, rather than make it like this extended period of time where I'm wondering whether or not I'm actually going to get a key for a certain thing. Like, I had to basically redo my plans around that. So also take it back. You want my shout out? If you disrupt your stream, if you disrupt my stream, I want to disrupt yours. For those of you who do not know Night Valiant, he was playing, was it Devolution? Anyways, he was playing this really great little submarine indie, and Night Valiant's actually becoming a bit like El Canoe for me, where I find out a lot of really neat little games. He's got a very relaxed stream. I'm surprised that more people don't sort of, like, stick around, because I feel like he has some of the appeals that I do, which is that it doesn't really matter what's being said. It's just more that it's an environment in which you can hear that sort of stuff. So, Beluvian, great, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. That was a lot of fun to watch you play that. You find a transport containing salvageable production stash. Unfortunately, the stash's systems are destroyed and provide no data on its origin, destination, or the event that led to its destruction. Also, I apologize because I did say that I would have gameplay within 10 minutes. And I genuinely did intend to have the gameplay, but it's live broadcast. You never know when stuff is going to come up. Did you see the drill? The tunnel caved it? No, I didn't. I didn't actually get to see it. I heard...
It's important to imagine this patch of land without the raging hell fracture of cosmic death spewing forth pollutants from a dimension of pure agony and horror. Phil Dunford, Imperius 4 Colony Real Estate Agency.
I heard your reaction to it, but I was in another window when it happened, and by the time I got back, I saw the aftermath. Okay, so I got to figure out what I want to do as a next step. So one of the things that I had been talking about previously was colony infrastructure so that I can get the extra cosmite. The problem is I have a lot of stuff in my production queues, so it's not obvious that I'm going to be able to take advantage of that right away. Research development, energy development, these are desirable, but I don't necessarily know when I'm going to be using those. Let's take a quick look at Celestial Rain, because it sometimes gives me something kind of cool. Chromatic amplification, except everyone we could possibly sway to follow. Cooldown for requesting a new quest. Well, we don't have that, but I think Celestial Judgment helps me out with getting the soul burn. Your enlightened units deal 10% added damage to non-enlightened units. Okay, so Celestial Rain is definitely a tempting one. The other temptation would be to do residential development, because I am going to be getting to a point where I want to expand a little bit further, and because it takes 7 turns, I don't have as much to worry about when it comes to... I'll be able to get through the queue at a decent enough clip to be able to bring it in. So it says gives +1 level to all residential sectors. Raising the sector level of a sector will increase the benefits from sector exploitations in that sector. And colony district buildings, an Oathbound specialist center where colonists can be trained to work as chroniclers. The structure can later be upgraded after annexing residential exploitation sectors to the colony. Oh, they give science for that. I think I'm going to do Celestial Rain because we are going to be going into combat relatively soon, but I do actually want to get on that residential improvement.
Operations primed and ready.
All right. So I believe the paladin I wanted to upgrade was in this stack. No? Okay, top level paladin aspirant. Okay, no, these are all paladins, so it would have to be... Well, that's interesting. So why... Not a valid target. Oh, hang on. He's just shy of... He needs the little... He needs one more level. Okay. This is going to be unfortunate. We were able to knock these guys back last time in a Deep Sea Crack. It would be sort of nice if I have... Oh, you know what? I do have improved military infrastructure, so we're a bit better there. No, we don't. I'm actually going to move that higher up the queue then, because I've really been dropping the ball on...
Production ready.
Better industry is always better. And if I wanted to move this person to protect Deep Sea Crack, yeah, so they're going to be able to claim it if they want. So I think we'll take our lumps and hope for the best. All right, well, we kind of knew that was going to be coming. Now, if I recall, oh, well, you know what? It was all Cellist Steel Eaters the last time. If I recall correctly, the AI couldn't handle it. But we did okay, so I'll do the auto combat for the interest. And it says that they won, so let's see if I can outdo them. Okay. So the ideal, of course, is to take them out one by one. The Octawhale. I swim with many ocean dwellers, but none is as protective of the gentle sea creatures as the Octawhale. They are often found swimming with Chalice, performing nurturing tasks for those it deems a friend. When my submersible lost power, an Octawhale lifted us from the depths so that we could surface for air. It is as though it senses distress and wants to help. When threatened, it can shoot a thick glop of biotoxic ink from its blowhole. I've never observed it do so predatorily. Marine biologist Dr. Ariel Triton, RV3423S, Under the Sea. I always like the little references. One of the things I've actually really liked is when people pick up on the references inside a chat. I always feel like a bit of a spoil sport if I bring them up myself. But it's always delightful when people talk about the references they pick up on. So this is Plague Carrier, 8 strength chance to apply Blighted Plague, which will give lower morale, accuracy, and takes damage per turn. And it causes blindness. So there is actually quite a bit to worry about against this group. An octawhale. You mean to tell me they don't have octawhales where you are? Interesting. So they're gonna try and surround us.
Operations ready.
I'm terrified of deep water and moist creatures. Yeah, so definitely don't mess with the octawhale. Storm breath attack a 3 hex. Okay, so the real drawback with these guys is that they need to get into melee range. But I really do need to deliver some hurt, so I'm gonna focus on the octawhale. And then to make life difficult for them, I'm gonna make sure that this guy is as far as possible from the retaliation. But we're gonna make it hard for them to hit. Now this one's gonna be free. Normally I wouldn't be. Normally I'd want to go in and focus fire down this unit, but they held it back further than they could have. So the hope here is that we'll be able to survive. We'll be able to survive this one long enough to be able to clean up. Speaking of moist creatures, you bought so many Steam games this year. The puzzles will return. I got a lot of Hitman games. Do you have a problem? Did you get anything else this sale? I was originally not going to. Actually, yeah, so this is a conversation that's being had. Let's get that out of the way. I suppose to do my due diligence, as long as you guys keep in mind that I was given a key for this and the DLC for promotional purposes. In the Steam sale, Age of Wonders Planetfall is 66% off, so if you're Canadian, it's $19.37. The Deluxe Edition, which has the content pack with it, is $23.45. If you'd like to play the thing I'm playing, which is the game with the season pass, you can get the Premium Edition for $35.01. And if you already have... I suppose if you already have the season pass, each of the individual if you don't have the season pass but you just want an individual DLC, the individual DLC are half off. So, except for Star Kings. Star Kings is still full price. But yeah, so I did get a couple things this sale. Oddly enough, I fell into the bad habit for myself, which was buying stuff that I kind of knew I would not actually be playing. So based on recommendation from No Virtue, I picked up a game called Pandora First Contact, and the DLC for it was relatively inexpensive, so I also picked up Eclipse of Nashira. This was her recommendation instead of Civilization Beyond Earth. I really like Civilization Beyond Earth, but I generally do like her opinions on things, so I went with that. I filled out my Kitfox games library, so I picked up Shattered Planet and The Shrouded Isle, and then finally, I have no idea when I'm actually going to play it, but I did buy Among Us because it's popular. All right, let's see if we survive the. Okay, I still wound up blinded, which is unlucky. But I should be able to get a good flank on this one. So yeah, so there's actually... I think there's a really interesting possibility that's been opened up here, because this unit has not been touched by anything yet. Okay. Now, under normal circumstances, I would put the precognition back on this guy. But the fact that I'm able to take out all the enemy units in one hit, or not, sorry, that I'm able to take out one enemy unit and that I'm going to be able to follow up on this Chalice. It's a little too much for me to pass up. So we'll see if this guy survives. But again, I only need one unit standing by the end of this invasion, so... Yeah, I agree completely, Night Valiant. So I think the...
Unit has fallen.
So that's what I get for not doing the precog, though. I don't get the chance to apply it to my guy. I'm pretty sure we'll still be able to take it where we need to go. So a Night Valiant here says, you love the effect that Fall Guys and Among Us are having in games. No need for some gatekeeping shooter nonsense. Get me a game that your grandma can kill someone and get away with. I think this is kind of the same intuition that made The Sims such a profitable game. Oh, I'm actually quite lucky that I didn't get blinded by that. Okay, sadly, I don't seal the deal here. So I'm going to put Gift of Providence down. I'm also, as a precaution, I'm also going to use Cleansing Light to put a little healing in. That may not be enough to make this guy survive. We'll see. Ouch.
Unit lost.
Yep, that ship just rammed the whale. Alright, I'm in some trouble here. It's going to be a little bit of a slap fight, but I think we can make this work. That blinded me, so that's going to be a problem. And it's also blighted me. I think I'm just going to take this from the start, because this is going to be, even if I win this, it's going to be a very long and horrible slog. But yeah, sorry, I wanted to talk about The Sims. So I think one of the big things about The Sims was... Is this a whole other level? No, it's not. Like, this is a game that's very clearly designed for a pretty broad audience. I think there's a lot of people that can get into The Sims. And it's, you know, especially when you consider the other stuff that kind of came out around that time, you know, it might be weird even that you don't have a gun, you know, right at the start. And the funny thing is that despite the fact that The Sims made money hand over fist, it really does feel to a certain extent that we don't value the types of games that don't necessarily involve, you know, soldiers or blowing stuff up. So, like, for a very long time, there was this perception that mobile games were casual and that somehow that was a bad thing. It's a little bit of a shame because actually there's some really good mobile games out there. So I've created some problems for this guy, but I think we'll be able to weather this storm. This is basically the same... Oh, damn. Well, I'll work with what I got. They were really clever in how they positioned everyone. I'm going to work on the Octa Whales first because this guy can heal off of hitting my guys. Do you ever read that article, how back in the day during the massive success of Myst, the journos twisted it to be a failure? I did not hear that. That's really interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, again, like, I care quite a bit about revealed preferences. I am obviously playing a game with soldiers in it. And I do, like, so some of the stuff that I've enjoyed the most, right? It's going to be things like Wolfenstein. It's going to be, you know, a lot of games that really do have, so I think, so I'm going to get my ass kicked here, but what? Unbelievable.
Unit destroyed.
All right, well, I've already reset once. I might as well do it again. I'm not losing this outpost, damn it. But yeah, like, basically, not every, like, so especially if you consider, like, some of the most famous examples we could get would be stuff like Mario Brothers. I think in this case here, I am going to go for the old approach of letting them peel off one of their whales. It's like Mario, admittedly you do jump on the bad guys, but like it's definitely not, it's not Quake. Not that Quake is like a particular, like that's not like that's the most extreme example of a violent game that you could get or something like that, but it's an example.
Operations ready.
Soldier jump, yeah. Interesting. So you know what? I wonder if I can make them maybe commit to that. Okay, no, they're still going to defend on that side. Kind of glad I resisted the blind there. Planetfall is soldier chest, which brings an entirely different demographic. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. If anything, there's probably too much of a perception, in my view, that that strategy games are for, like, you know, these philosopher kings who like a higher form of gaming. But I like them. What can I say? I think I'm going to start with the hit just in case the Overwatch does work out. Cool. So now I can afford to give you the precognition. And then I'm going to flank this guy. It will open him up to his own flank, sadly. But I want to try and take out the bad guys as quickly as possible. More blinding. Well, we knew this flank was coming, but fortunately oh! Wasn't expecting that. He might go down, though. I can't believe he's still alive. So does he have any negative status effects? Currently blinded. So let's get the most that we can. So if I did an arc discharge. I'm doing that instead of healing this guy because we know we're going to lose him no matter what. And I don't like pairing these guys off because I know that one is going to heal over the other. But if I move away, he's going to get an Overwatch hit. I knew that was going to happen.
Unit has fallen.
And he gets a flank. That was actually really well. That was a really well done little move on his part. Okay, well, I don't have much of an option here. I kind of have to smack him with the lance. So again, this opens up an Overwatch. The hope is that this guy will survive long enough to be able to earn me a little bit extra on him, but I think it's just going to be a slap fight between these two units. Yeah.
A brave sacrifice.
Well, we'll hit him with everything we can get. But yeah, sorry, I'm failing to make the point. There is definitely something to be said for recognizing that, you know, let's say like what I find interesting in a game is not necessarily what's going to be the most I don't know, maybe the most effective sales wise is too mercenary of a way of putting it, but I think there is something to be said for this is going to get a little complicated, but so yeah, I think the best I can do is just hope that he doesn't do damage. He's actually winning this exchange right now. All right, I got nothing. I have no answer to that. Are we going to spend the whole stream on the fact that I can't defend my one area? But yeah, like in the mobile space, there's a lot of really interesting stuff happening, and this has been true for a really long time. Myst is a great example. So like Myst wasn't exactly on my radar, so that's I suppose I can kind of be forgiven for not knowing that example. I think I'm actually just going to go charging in on this side, and I'm going to ignore any defensive moves. This might be a disaster, but now is the time for me to try new things. I've always it's like the same argument that you'll always see for variety, right? The worst that you can get is a product that you ignore. And I've never really felt that that's, you know, beyond the pale. Generally, I like variety. I can't really think any other circumstances under which I would say, oh, what a crying shame it is that we have more options here. I'm just going to try and allow my comrade to come in with some extra hits. Overall, this placement's working well for me. I do think there might be some consequences for getting in so close. Like the existence of games that I don't enjoy playing doesn't really hurt me, whereas people feeling like they can't, maybe taking this guy out first is the better choice, just because of his how he nibbles away at my guys. So he's going to be a problem for sure. Olaf, thank you very much for the host. Unbelievable. that thing's already done for, so... Not a random enemy unit. I have a very specific... Oh, Jesus. It's not worth it. We're just gonna redo it. I was able to clobber these guys last time. I guess it was they didn't have the octawhales, but maybe this time I'll make them come to me. They are the aggressor. And we'll put them in a really narrow... We'll put our guys in a really narrow position. Not quite who I was thinking of moving, but... Anyway, sorry, yeah. I'm trying to engage with what you're saying, Night Valiant, and then I'm getting clobbered by the game, so... but yeah, no, I agree. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. Like, I'm always interested in finding out what counts as a game to be. Like, I'm sure at once upon a time, you could have proposed something like SimCity to someone, and you would have gotten just this very sophisticated eyebrow raise, and the wisdom. Nobody, who would ever want to play something like that, right? Well, turns out a lot of people, and not only that, but it winds up being a really inspirational game.
Operations ready.
And we're all better off for it. Obviously, we're at a point now where there's also, unfortunately, a lot of games that are sort of failing to find their audience, and that's a bit of a shame. But I still think it's still worth rewarding stuff for trying and for being interesting. There is a side of me that wants to sneak around and try and ambush this unit. I think we can do it. We're not going to be protected, so this is going to be a bit of a hairy round, but... no, I should do that. Oh, I didn't realize it was the end of a season in Fortnite, Olaf. Good luck. Always happy to have you here. I'm doing all right. I'm quite sleepy, but I think that's par for the course on Mondays now. Okay, I can actually kind of accept this guy. I don't exactly want to lose them, but I can definitely accept some inconveniences. So one thing I'm going to do is just pull him straight back, because I believe we're still able to drop this on the bad guys no matter what. Good. Okay, so I do get a sweet flank here. And now I get to go around the other side and get sweet flank number 2. That's not enough to seal the deal, so I'll leave it be. Oh, they're going hard on this guy. I wonder if he'll... I don't think he's going to survive it. Oh my god, I can't believe he... Okay, this will work very well for me.
Enemy killed.
So he can't put precognition on himself. What I can do, though, is send these guys on a wild goose chase. So what I'm specifically doing here is I'm putting this unit in a position that will force them... So to have one unit take this guy out, they're going to have to be facing a direction other than where my main units are. So he's going to give the Gift of Providence. Almost certainly this unit dies next turn. But he was able to buff one of my units, and they're going to have to take out at least one of their guys to be able to seal the deal on the Oathbound. Why didn't I get an Overwatch on that? I guess it's not an Overwatch unit. That's probably the smartest thing they could have done on that unit, now that I think of it. Why didn't my precognition come in? I don't understand that move, and I actually really think they got away with something pretty scummy there. Okay, so that was a fairly important one for me to pull off, and this is so I can just kind of move around the edge.
As the Oracle foretold.
It might be because the unit that gave it died, but that's still weird if it works that way. Oh, that sucks. But he didn't heal. Okay, that was a graze, sadly. But he's already used his Overwatch. Oh, Jesus. What's going on with my units? Still wasn't enough, this guy's. This is definitely going to be a tough fight, because he heals each time he bangs us. Oh, and he gets to do it two times a turn. I don't see any way we can get the upper hand on this. Yeah, especially if I do a graze. Unbelievable. That was the right approach, though. So I think the Chalice... So I was originally wanting to take out the Octawhales. I think the Chalice becomes pretty much public enemy number one. I don't see how I can go by without... without sort of hitting it. Or at least doing something to mitigate its ability to heal. But I think just being able to pile on it is the correct course of action.
Operations available.
So I'm gonna try and draw these guys out. Unfortunately, it probably means that the encounter happens in the middle of open water here, which means they get a flank with this guy. But I can't have it all. I just want to see what happens if I prioritize the Chalice. I may not have the range that I need on this thing. Okay, so I can hit the Octawhale, but that's not good enough for me. So I'm going to do a second best. I'm going to move up so that I have the protection of the kind of the wall. Gonna be a little bold. But I have some ideas. And then the idea here is to get the debuff down on my guys, or on these guys, as quickly as possible. And again, public enemy number 1 is the Chalice. So if I was the AI and I knew my strategy, I'd take this Octawhale and occupy this guy, then this Octawhale and occupy this other guy. We'll see whether or not it... Nope, it's going in for it. Oh, they're going in for a bit of a feeding frenzy. Okay, so again, Chalice is public enemy number 1. I gotta be careful in the order there where I do this. Actually, you know what? This is really the question I'm trying to figure out here. Like, when I wind up in an engagement like this, have I just doomed myself from the start? Or is there sort of a credible path to a win? So one approach that I don't think will help me here, so I can do the... I'm going to try it, but I'll do the Entropic Lash. And I think with the blind... Oh, really? Okay. This is kind of a noble sacrifice that's going on here, but...
Enemy annihilated.
I think this might have just blown it open, actually.
Unit down.
Am I not allowed to give this unit a momentary insight? So this Overwatch is going to hurt, but...
Enemy
I'm
destroyed.
surprised, but pleasantly so. So let's hope this Cleansing Light is enough, but I think the flank is going to take him out. Does it ever?
Unit has fallen.
Alright, so again, we wind up in the same slap fight as before. I could inflict the Lash of Adversity, but the best that it does is gives them a fumble. What I'm really looking to do is maximize my damage output here. Similar idea. I could sort of do the precog. Oh no, I can't do the Gift of Providence because I can't hit my. I can't apply that to myself. I think he's going to try the Ink Splot. Guess not. I didn't account for him being blinded, though. So the funny thing is, these all count as flanks, and yet I'm pretty sure if I were to move this unit like this... No, shows what I know.
Our forces have been defeated. Operation Options available.
I mean, maybe I should just learn to be willing to take the loss, but at this point, I'm fascinated.
Enemy destroyed. Unit has fallen.
Again, exceptionally good luck there.
Enemy annihilated.
Wait, what is the deal with the... Oh, no, hang on, because I didn't put the precog on him. That's why. Or did I? Providence. Oh, hang on. That's a crit. That's not a... Okay, I've been using that ability wrong. There's a different ability I have that does... Now I know where I went wrong. I should have done an arc discharge then. So I think this is going to wind up being the same as before, but yeah.
Unit lost.
However, given the fact that there are a couple of things I want to do to try and tip the scales in my favor. So the aim was to try and get some dirty flanks in on this guy. Yeah, it looks like we wind up doing the exact same thing to each other, and he just does a bunch more damage, though. Man, there are some weird buffs that these things get. So the being beside me means that the goop it explodes, or it spits out.
It is all
Yeah.
part of the Oracle's plan.
Okay, so now that I know I've been misinterpreting that ability.
Operations ready.
So the one thing I shouldn't bank on is this working. It did. He's lost,
Unit
but
down.
okay, so I gotta do something about that blinded, sadly. Well, maybe not.
Enemy eliminated.
This is one where I'm just going full aggro and seeing what happens. That graze doesn't help me. We might, however, have done enough damage that my flying unit sees us through to the end. So clearly here, I'm going to go for as many flanks as I can, seeing as that's the trick they use on me. And under normal circumstances, I would actually... Wait, I think I might just hit my own guy. I would normally give this guy the crit ability, but given that he's blinded, it may not land. Unbelievable.
A brave sacrifice.
So at this point, I kind of need to deliver one way or the other. Okay, that blind's going to be inconvenient. All right.
Forces are victorious.
An hour later, we've finally managed to deal with minor characters taking an outpost. Inessa has captured your claimed sector. Inessa has captured Brownwind's grassland. Because of your claims on this sector, you've gained a casus belli on Inessa, allowing you to declare war on them with popular support. So I'm just going to collect these to cash in later. Either for my own violation of their claims or other trade benefits. All right, sadly we still have one more place to move. It's a little sleepier tonight. Sorry, I got a blanket. It's getting a bit cold out, but I'm apparently very stubborn when it comes to the heating. I haven't touched it yet, so I'm wrapping myself in a blanket because apparently touching the thermostat is just, I don't know, beyond the pale. I'm weird. That's what I gotta say. Anyways, that's fine. Now we can play the game for real. Confirm movement. Okay, so we're gonna be moving in. You know what? Just because of how much time I spent. Stream. It's the 30th, right? Yep. Actually, I guess it's maybe a little early to be asking that. But does anybody have their Christmas plans sorted out? I'm on my own here, so I actually don't really have anything as far as plans go anymore. Marauders are trembling in fear and trying to flee the battle. What do you want to do? We will always allow them to retreat. There will later be benefits for reputation and... sorry, not reputation. For... I don't know, for just what a good person I am. And we'll continue to make our move on the growth. Unfortunately, it does mean that we don't wind up with the... it does mean we don't wind up with the benefits from of experience, but I generally like letting people back off when they
ready.
want. Okay, I think I'm going to need botanical gardens sooner rather than later, so I might as well just see the writing on the wall as far as that's concerned. We're up to number 3 for those. I'll add botanical gardens at the end too.
Operations primed and ready.
Okay, let's see what the next turn gives us. Alright, they're not interested in the growth apparently. Watch your ranks.
We all have a better nature, one that will obey our oaths. Unfortunately, left alone, that better nature can be corrupted by selfishness. We forget our actions have consequences. To correct this, our better natures are empowered by constantly being watched. Watcher, Goody Momo.
So this is probably my favorite DLC out of the 3 so far. So first of all, the faction is just interesting to play. It doesn't mean that it's not as easy as maybe just picking up the Vanguard. I feel like the Vanguard is very much the sort of army you might expect in a game like this. It plays very much how you think a game like this might go. And then the real joy, of course, comes in when you start seeing some of the other factions and maybe learning some of the things that you didn't have in mind originally when you started playing. I think probably what's been neat about this faction is not just how fun it is to play, but there's this constant menace underlying. So like you have all of these examples of people talking about how nice it is, and they seem to be about equality and there really is this there really are these noble characters who are putting themselves at risk for the betterment of society, but you do really have a lot of this kind of totalitarian menace underlying all of the writing inside of it. So for example, to correct this, our better natures are empowered by constantly being watched. And again, I mean, it's getting on now. Like I've well and truly moved on to other books that aren't Republic, but obviously that's one of the big sort of debates about that particular dialogue by Plato. Is this actually a place where you would want to live? And so this is lining up rather well with some of the reading I've been doing lately. But I wanted the Watcher because it is the one that I believe that gives the extra evasion. Okay, so I also think this is where I had some harder decisions to make about where I wanted to go in terms of my development. So if I wanted more units, we've got the champion ranks: Paladin Champion, Oathbound Elite, Volt Greatsword, Storm Discharge. Compare that to our... I guess I can't compare it to a base Paladin unit. It's tempting. It'll take 11 turns, though. Combat manuscripts will give detection, shield, status resistance. The healing banner will be helpful, though. Launch a flying banner of healing, healing friendly units within a 1 hex radius for 15 on launch. The banner randomly picks an allied unit within 9 hexes and heals it for 15 every turn. The banner of healing lasts for 3 turns. Now, we have been going pretty heavy down the arc path, just because that's what most of our weaponry is set up with. Now, the impact module on its own isn't all that interesting because we already do the stagger damage, but being able to do an additional 20% is rather nice. And then we can continue going down the Celestian path. I suppose I'd really be waiting on the star presence. Now, this is actually maybe not so bad because it does do psionic damage. It's mostly just the fact that this thing has a cleansing light in its pocket. But then what unit would I take out of my stacks to be able to bring in one of them? Okay, so champion I'm definitely considering. I can do the upgrades for the entropy. Yeah, the sedating decay component is actually pretty good. All right, let's be a little more even-handed. Artis Pierce wants to join you, so this is almost certainly a Promethean hero. So I don't actually have a set of units to bring them in yet, but that's fine. We'll find a job for them. There lies the city of Touché, centerpiece and home colony of the first Aki Verdis. He gave his life for its safety, but it would appear that the city has lost much of its previous charm since then. Even the main street looks abandoned and deserted. O foreigner, have you not heard the terrible curse that has befallen our once fair city? Every night a shadow takes possession of the streets, spreading despair to even the bravest of hearts. In the morning, yet another member of our community will be missing, and they never return. I'm shocked to hear about these happenings, good civilian, but as the new Aki of this planet, I do not believe in curses or superstitions. There must be an explanation for what is happening, and I swear I shall find it. You are the new Aki, then perhaps our prayers have been answered, but you too will believe in curses once you have witnessed the nightfall. Don't the seers curse our enemies as well when they condemn them to fail in battle? That is different. But I shall take your advice and stay in Truchet for the night to keep vigil. No more civilians shall vanish from this city if there's anything I can do about it. Every night people go missing in the city of Truchet. You promise to spend the night there to investigate. Hint to access quest operations performed on a colony hex. Go to the colony center tab in the colony interface. Another new thing that I brought in. Oop. So first we'll turn this into a colony. It's a little selfish of me, I know. And I'm actually going to run this new hero up right away. Give the aspirant something to do. Again, I would really like to have this guy running into the battles, but sometimes these things take time. So I've got 5 turns before I get the higher level outpost. I am faced with a little bit of a dilemma here because they're sitting on my Cosmite. But I think I am going to clear out the riffraff. Geothermal instability, I should have thought about that. Okay, every 2 turns the battlefield surges with geothermal heat, dealing 8 damage to all units with a strength 4 chance to cause burning. So if I do, you know what, I'll enable tactical operations for this one. If I give them auto, what do they do? Actually, they do not too bad. I'm sitting on that one. I kind of wish that I was doing a little bit more combat for myself, but I did spend a lot of time on that domain invasion in the coastal area, so I want to try and catch up a little bit and move on to the next event. Olaf says, no plans for Christmas, you live alone and no family, so just another day. Yeah, me too. I am trying to get a little bit better. Actually, so I'm not one to tell other people how to live because I haven't quite figured this out for myself. But I had been doing some reading from a few sources, and they talked about the benefit of specific. So, like, I like to try and keep things clean if I can. Oddly enough, I actually keep my office a lot cleaner than I keep my apartment. I will admit my apartment started to get a little bit, I don't even know if I should say messy so much as cluttered. And it's mostly just because I got a couple of board games from GMT and they've got boxes of packing peanuts in them. So like normally I would collapse the boxes right away. But when there's like a whole bunch of like styrofoam in the middle, I got to spend some time clearing it out and whatnot. So there's a little bit of that going on. But the thing is that I don't have bookshelves. So I have just books everywhere, and they're like in these towers where if I walk by too fast, they might all come crashing down. And I noticed that with my desktop, both where I've got my work laptop set up, but also like the system that I'm sitting at here, I was starting to just let books sort of stack up, and I've got a couple of other things. I'm actually just noticing I've got some what do you call them? Twist ties. They're kind of sitting on the desktop. I'm just going to put those out of sight, actually. I need them for something, so they don't need to go to the garbage yet, but yeah, I actually took the time to tidy that up. It really helped. And again, because I'm on my own, I don't need to worry so much about some of the details, but I just noticed that generally I'm a little bit better at focusing. And it's weird, like there's some books on like writing where they talk about the importance of a clean workspace, and that's just a preference thing. But I can't lie. Like I'm definitely a bit more focused in my my work. Clearly not my streaming. There was a reason why I brought that up, but I genuinely can't remember it anymore. But yeah, I think one of the things I've been trying to do for my own... So I'm in a similar situation to Olaf in that I don't have any family in the area. I'm even less likely to be going out now than I normally would on Christmas. But one of the things I have been trying to do is the more downtime that I get, I've been trying to make sure that I make that productive time. So even if I'm sitting down and reading, like that is better than like just sitting down and watching YouTube videos for however many hours, one after the other. So, Christmas for you, pizza, and a Lord of the Rings marathon. Man, it's actually been a while since I've seen the Lord of the Rings movies. Sometimes you stream. Are you? Is that Arma or Arams? I'm not sure if I'm familiar with Arams. Normally it's you, whiskey and steak, but your health means it's not the best plan this year, so you probably just have a steak and have a walk. I like walk. It gets really cold here in winter, so I don't get as many walks around this time. But one of the things I missed the most about Vancouver was being able to walk along the seawall, listening to like podcasts and lectures and stuff like that. It's a League of Legends game. Okay, cool. I don't see any advantage to getting them to move to meet this hero, so I think I'm just gonna keep them in position. All right, so I can't do two things at once. Oh, hang on. Might as well get them to pick up the surveyor drone. The rec drone contains data of an uncharted area. This is actually a spot which I would like to take for myself, so that's rather good that that happened. And it looks like I can just go in and pick this one up too. Interesting.
Operations primed and ready.
Oh, I didn't even see if we got the promotion we wanted. Apparently we didn't. All random, oh, neat. All right, I think I'll do auto combat. Yeah, it's just it's the garrison, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, lots of stuff to do this turn. Entropic Foundations.
There's only one power that binds chaos. Intelligence. Intelligence is expressed in the word. The word is power with purpose. Plan the word. See the word. Say the word. Feel the word. Free the word. When chaos has purpose, it arises from the noise. Gavin Crenshaw, Chaos Handler.
Okay. So the question that I have now would be: do I want to do more more down the entropy line? So there's something nice about being able to apply slow movement and reduce accuracy for 30% for 3 turns, but maybe I can do even better. So with the Entropic Decompressor, 12 strength chance to apply atrophy, and this is a stacking debuff, and it reduces damage by 15%. If we go even further, Decay Chains, get 8 damage and have a 12 strength chance to get atrophy for 3 turns. So it wouldn't increase the damage, but it would give extra armor. What's my other option? Champion ranks. It's tough, right? Because at some point I do want champion ranks, and it's not clear what I gain from... I think I'm going to go for champion ranks. The ability to slow and reduce accuracy. So reducing accuracy by 30%. Let's work this out a little bit. Well, actually, no, hang on. So let's say we have... Eight strength chance, huh? Okay, yeah. So I was just gonna say, it's like this feels like it's actually a stronger in like if you game it out and you say, okay, so over like run it out for yourself and sort of account for all of the the number of times this rolls. It feels like being able to do the 30% reduction on accuracy, like over the long run, is a greater reduction in damage than what you would get from 15%, a 15% decrease. The catch here is that this is, so it's an 8 strength versus a 12 strength. So you get like another 50% in terms of the strength, which means it's much more likely the 15% applies. So these are probably a little more balanced than it seems at the start. But yeah, extra units are not bad. And it's pretty clear that I'm going to be in a, one of the reasons why I changed my mind as far as getting the next unit is concerned. I now have 2 heroes that I'm trying to build up armies for. So this guy is pretty well taken care of. This guy has only got a paladin aspirant on his kind of on his Christmas list, I guess, for lack of a better term. Okay, so I guess Townsend Folly's got a place they want to expand to. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with that yet.
Though we seek to nest in a hive that shines brighter than stars, there will always be isolated souls outside the swarm. Kindling a dying spark, penetrate the darkness, fly to the lost, set their sparks ablaze. Picky Pock, Celestian Missionary, Kieko Zone Conference.
This was just so that I could get the extra doctrine. So we'll set a new research priority. I guess at this point I need to be considering residential development. Not least of which because I'm going to have to expand my territory in a minute. Direct data, okay. I wouldn't normally move them out aggressively like that, but I did want to. There wasn't anything sort of in the immediate area to threaten them. I figured I could get a quick peek at what else is going on in the area. So this guy can sit down and wait for the units. So they need a total of 3. So what's the deal? Why did I... Okay, so I guess the way I think about this one is that I've got some decent ranged units. I really only have one frontliner unit. So I could either try for the Paladin Aspirant again, or I could put down another Incorruptible. I definitely can't wait for... Yeah, you know what? Let's just put down another Incorruptible. I'm not so sure I want to invest in the deep sea crack yet, because this is almost certainly going to be a colony in which I pull back from certain areas and expand out to stuff like the organic food compound. So we'll go for the advanced military infrastructure. All right, we don't need to worry about the Cosmite being blocked anymore. So at this point, it's really just a matter of cleaning out the rest of the growth. There's also only one place we're going to expand to, which is Codeword Intelligence Complex. Actually, that's not true. Eventually, we will convert one of these into something that gives me extra housing. That day is
Production ready.
a little bit further into the future.
Production ready.
All right, so you get to stay... Oh, Night Watch. Every night people go miss... Yeah. Go to Colony Center tab in the Colony interface. There we go. So we will keep vigil. And we still get to set production for it. So let's think a bit about what our next move is here. Well, it's obviously got to be... I'm going to do something a little unexpected here. I'm actually going to set up a central replicator facility. So the reason for doing that, we've got quite a bit of farmland already. In fact, I think there is an argument, especially for Damister. Right. Well, we'll deal with. I think we'll take this stuff out first. We're definitely generating a lot of food right now, and for the ones that have sort of grown to their max quantity, I can definitely see the advantage of sharing food. Okay, so Townsend Folly can annex another sector. I need to start thinking about how Truchet is going to work and when and where I'm going to build another colony or colonizer. So there's a lot of really good spots for Truchet to go, actually. It's very clear that with Townsend Folly, I'm going to... Okay, so let's say Townsend Folly takes organic food compound for sure. I think the most logical place to pull back would be to get rid of the coastal base. Actually, no, sorry. I get one for free. So normally I would annex this, but we got to clear out the growth first. So unlucky for me, but we'll have a unit ready to do that. Okay, so we take Organic Food Compound 5. We could also try and take Central Garden Robot Reserve. But if we claim Forbidden Harvest from the growth, maybe we just want that for them instead. I think essentially the question for me here is how much do I want to invest in, like how far do I want to move out? So Truchet, we could do something like 1, 2... Well, no, hang on. I'm building around the idea that I'm actually going to have a lot of food for this, so... One, 2, 3, 4, or 4. Okay, so we'll say that this is as far as my expansion goes for this territory. That would mean it actually makes a lot of sense for me to take a colonizer and put it here or here. Basically, somewhere in this area to bridge the gap. Okay, I got the game plan. And again, this is going to be a temporary move because we're going to want to take Organic Food Compound, but here we'll give... This one, Greymire, will give me the maximum amount of science out of my options.
Operations primed and ready.
Oh, did I hit Drat? I meant to do the Doctrine. Let's get that out of the way. It's 2 hours past nightfall, and the city has turned eerily quiet. The people of Truchet are afraid of what is to come and have barricaded themselves inside their houses. This is horrible. Sorry, guys, just a quick... I saw a big message I want to take a quick look at here. The clock strikes 12 with when a mysterious dark green mist starts spreading through the streets of Truchet. It thickens until one cannot see beyond arm's length. A few minutes later, a desperate cry breaks the silence of the night. This is the moment of truth. Followers of the Celestian Order, channel the light of the stars and let it dissipate the darkness, concealing the night's crime. Now! Lighted streets reveal 3 hooded figures, one of them a large hulk carrying a man-sized package. With a natural speed, they make a run towards the city's walls. Hold it right there, atrocious criminals. It's time for you to receive your judgment. Fool! The bulky figure drops the living package, grabs his companions, and leaps onto the city wall. Then, with a flash of purple, he hurls his blade at the sack he had left behind and disappears. Sister Iluna, the unknown intruders have escaped into the night. Sadly, the civilian that they tried to abduct almost instantly died from the wound caused by the thrown blade. How would you like to continue the pursuit? Let a scryer follow with the perpetrators, use the Chaos Blade as a divining rod, and consult with Rascal before you respond. We will definitely consult. The villains terrorizing the city of Truchet have escaped my Celestian sentries, Rascal. Tracking them down will be a dangerous task. Once more, I am turning to you for advice. Examine Luna. You did well in confronting the perpetrators. They carried the mark of entropy, with no fear of its dangerous applications. Hand me the blade you found. When properly analyzed, it will reveal to us the origin of this new threat.
Objective completed.
Rascal has taken the Chaos Blade to analyze it and learn from it the location of the Truchet villain hideout. Assign your other seers to help him. All right, well, no no super units for me for a while. Let's not stand on ceremony. I feel like I should probably start clearing out any threats in the immediate area. Just a little chip damage, so nothing too scary. Normally I would be going after sprawling greens, but I want to get rid of the growth first. All right. Unexploited sector, we will say... No, well, we'll wait till we build our stuff first, actually. Okay, that's protected, so at this point we're going to move back to our guy. Oh, and we're ready to expand out, so I'll try the auto, but I think in this one we actually lose a unit. Nope. Okay, I think after the next little bit, we're going to start manually doing the combat for the next little while. Again, I'm on to the next part of the mission, so I think I can afford to start spending some more time on the combat. It's just I was a little conscious of the time. I know I'm limited in terms of how much I can do in a given session, so I wanted to make sure that we had some meaningful progress. Found an unlucky buyer for the material collected from the growth of the black market, vegetarians. All right, so German Botloff is already a lord. I'm happy with that. Personal weapons expert. When not in a vehicle, the hero's attacks gain 10% damage and 10% accuracy. Interesting, but I really do feel like... I feel like I should be investing a little bit more in my leadership qualities. So ground commander for the paladins I'm likely to get next. Rapid movements is tempting because they do have a shotgun. Okay, well let's start with ground commander. And we'll see where the rest of this takes us. And here it really does seem like we're secure. I kind of feel like I need to take care of this marauder, but it doesn't actually look like it's moving on our territory. So at this point, I don't think it would hurt for me to move move up here. Also, looks like I've got a fancy new untouchable, so we're going to knock that one out of the queue. Oh, we'll make him a prankster, actually. It's even better. Now, the fact of the matter is I'm probably going to want to build another one of these things for this guy's stack, but this is long into the future. I'm much more interested in filling in the ranks for this guy's army, so that's why I'm focusing on that material. Codework Intelligence Complex, Old Star Union sector base, which is still operational. It acts as a pre-built research exploitation and provides additional science and 2 science per pop. In addition, it unlocks the following: building in your colony learning center, which is, by studying old Imperial archives found in the collapsed research center, units can gain unique insight into war tactics. All non-mindless units produced in this colony gain plus 25% experience from all sources. So, this is actually rather important. Damister has certainly become a fairly impressive research center. Or sorry, a fairly impressive center for like high quality units. Which means that I'm still going to be doing stuff with food, but I do need to start reorganizing how the base is set up. So Gilded Greensward has got agricultural exploitation. Sweet Glade, we haven't figured out what we want yet. I think in this case, residential exploitation makes the most sense because we would be able to get an additional annexable sector, or Cherry Patio. I guess the same story there. Both of them are very good food exploitations. Doesn't really make a difference which one gets which. But one of them definitely needs to become a residential area. Okay, you stay put till you get your remaining units. We are honorable.
Sector annexed.
Happy enough with the annex. Again, we still got to clean out the riffraff, but a lot of this is kind of contingent on what happens in organic food compound. And I'm trying to decide at what point I want to start exporting food. I think right now. So we'll share half. I think that's the same story with Damister, although, again, once we're able to expand a little bit more, I might change my mind on that. So this place will be growing quite a bit faster now.
Operations primed and ready.
Now, I had a doctrine I was ready to enact. Yeah, Celestial Judgment. That's another 10% I basically get across the board, so I'm happy with that. And at some point I'm going to need to upgrade my units. You know what, we're not going into combat now, so let's we'll take the Sedating Decay components. Not gonna touch him, and I don't know if I really needed that last point, but okay, what's the deal with you? Insufficient cosmic. Okay, so I should probably be messing with my aspirants before too long. I think we're in good enough shape, though. Yeah, there's so much stuff I want to be doing with Damister right now. Okay, let's kill the botanical gardens. And I'm going to get rid of the central biofarm. Now that is going to be a little bit of a shame because this guy's the Lord of Damister and he is actually agriculture focused. So let's just make sure I'm not completely shooting myself in the foot. Does it just not say what his... Agrarian ideals. Okay, so food increases by 10%, happiness increases by 20. So yeah, I mean, theoretically, removing the central biofarm is not quite as good as it would have been otherwise, I suppose. Well, you know, now that I think of it, though, there's nothing saying that I can't replace this guy later. So I'll live with my choice. There's definitely going to be a bunch of lords that get assigned before too long. I think I said I was getting rid of these guys first, right? So I'm doing auto combat, but I think I'm probably going to take the field personally on this one. This is just more so for my comparison. We did okay, though. Okay, this is the last time I'm doing this. I really do want to take Sprawling Greens before too long. This will be a good one for me to go after. Okay, so let's... I think I did say this isn't necessarily the best one that I could be working to... Well, yeah, God, this is hard. Nope, I am going to annex Calm Expanse and Pastoral Serenity Gardens just because there's so much food to be gained from that. It just doesn't make any sense for me to do anything else in Truchet. Let's get you military infrastructure for a starter, then a recreational dome, and before too long we're going to start seeing demands for yeah, we'll start with that. I'm going to have to build an agriculture improvement on it. Oh, I need to give her some mods as well. Okay. God, there's a lot. Now this is interesting. So we've got Armored Standardization. This hero's presence inspires a willingness to fight and decreases production time for new units. Disables this option to gain pre-planned structures. Okay, so I can do basically military improvements or structural improvements. I think I'm going to do army standardization. I know we have some infrastructure on its way, but... not enough Cosmite, but I can at least get her a little something.
Happiness event in colony. Happiness event in colony. Happiness event in colony.
201 food. Wow. I think before too long we also gotta spike the farm. So somebody's gotta get the... Somebody's gotta get the residential sector. Put it in Greymire.
Empire task completed. Production ready.
Okay, so in 2 turns we should be ready to go hunting for for new territories. This also helps me sort of realign my overall shape. In fact, the funny thing is I may actually just be able to sit with what I've got already, given the fact that we're going to have that residential area. That's maybe something to consider for future turns. Okay, Trichet's got its unexploited agricultural sector. I think I'll put that above the recreational dome. It's pretty clear that we're doing okay for happiness now.
Operations primed and ready.
Still not ready. Fair enough. So these guys are just kind of going to come along for the ride. It's not bad. Not bad distance, to be honest. I don't think we're gonna get there on time to help out with the stack of units, but is this seat? Okay, I gotta see the achievement that I just got. You find a transport containing a salvageable production stash. Unfortunately, the stash systems are destroyed and provide no data on its origin, destination, or the event that led to its destruction. We just got the achievement. Is this seat taken? Assign a lord or a lady to a colony while having maxed colony lord skills. Oh, cool. Okay. And this one, it does not matter what happens to my units here. I'm doing this purely for comparison. Yeah, really good one, but it's time that I showed some base combat. Also, given there's been enough time, and it's clear that the people who are in the channel has shifted, so I'm trying to get a little bit better at doing this reminder. I still do it periodically, but I'm trying to come up with a bit of a system in terms of when, like, just regularly saying it for myself. So for those of you who are enjoying this, I will mention that the game is currently on sale during the Steam sale. But with that in mind, one of the reasons why I need to say what I'm about to say is precisely because, I just mentioned that you can get this game on sale. I was given this game for promotional purposes by Triumph. And so, as much as I'm enjoying it, I was kind of given a... I didn't need to pay for it. And so that sort of stuff is decent. The tough, actually, so maybe as an example about why this stuff is difficult to do, it sometimes gets a little irritating when you keep hearing the same person say the same thing over and over again, right? But on the other hand, have I really actually fulfilled sort of the spirit of that recommendation, let's say, if I say it once at the beginning of the stream, where sort of pretty much by definition there's going to be the smallest number of people hearing it? Have I really done anything as far as disclosure is concerned by by saying something like that? Or should I be making sure that somebody who comes in has a reasonable chance of sort of understanding what's going on? I don't necessarily think I need to say it like every 15 minutes, but yeah, just to be able to, when I recognize there's been a sufficient shift in the audience, I try to try and come up with little milestones in terms of the implied changes. So with that in mind, though, I really do enjoy this game. Now, the growth is a little bit of a conundrum for me, because they are very good at resisting arc, and they are very weak to fire. So worker bees are a little bit of a priority for me to try and take out.
Operations available.
Okay, now I can't hit the vine bud, so I could hit out. I could hit the ad here. Could try and do half damage. Oh, I can't access any of them, huh? Okay.
Enemy down.
Oh, that was a different unit than what I had intended. Well, that still gives me some... That still gives me some ideas. It's overkill to take this guy out like this, but...
Enemy down.
So what I'm ideally going to be doing is smacking down these worker bee units.
As the Oracle foretold.
See if this actually seals the deal. These guys get a heal, so it is a priority to me to completely take them out.
As the Oracle foretold.
Okay, that actually opens up some interesting possibilities for me. So I got to be careful about the order in which I do this, but I'm going to move up to the Hopper Hound here. Now my hope is that we stagger them when we land the hit. Good. So that means that this guy in the rear can kind of come up, and yes, it says Overwatch, but as long as I stagger the growth, that's a paper threat. That's not actually something I realize. Okay, so fair enough. Got a couple of units that are in danger, but we also have some heals that we'll be able to drop in a little bit. They're probably going for this unit. I got pretty lucky there.
As the Oracle foretold.
So, the funny thing is, that's actually kind of advantageous to me. And I'll show you why. So the fact that this unit is stuck means that they get to do Embolden now, which is my healing. So I'll move my archer up to cause some discomfort to the worker bees. Or not worker, soldier bees. Next step, we slap this guy with a saber.
Enemy annihilated.
Okay, so it's possible that we're going to be able to take this thing out. So, I want to make sure everybody's in place for healing time. So this is purely about maximizing the health that everybody takes away. Okay, everybody's already taken care of there. Okay, not quite enough to finish the job, so I think I'm gonna have to wait a little bit on the Embolden. That's a bit of a shame, because I think we'll still have some damage that happens by the end. I could spend some energy on this. I don't think it's worth it. We'll see what it does. Oh, the precognition took it. Okay. I got a bit lucky there.
Enemy kill. The predicted outcome.
So we should be walking away with a full, full health out of that. All right. So same idea here. This is one of the small appeals of being able to take out the growth units. I wouldn't normally be so aggressive against sort of a local faction. Normally I try to befriend them Although the more that I've done this, the more I realize that it is actually to your advantage to be at war with at least one of them. But in addition to the fact that I get some pretty decent claims to territory, the ability to kill so many growth units is going to translate to a lot of into a lot of research, and especially given the fact that I'm so focused on agrarian concerns, this has really been supplementing a lot of my research in a way that I think had I not been more aggressively pursuing this enemy, we'd probably be further behind as far as our technology is concerned. So I think I'm going to keep that in mind for some of the future playthroughs. Examine Eluna. I have completed the analysis of the Chaos Blade and communed with the Oracle to cross-check its components with the materials existing on this planet. There is no doubt the hideout of the perpetrators lies at the center of the rugged mountains. Thank you, Vraskel. I shall send out my troops immediately. The days of Truche villains are numbered. Villains are numbered.
Objective completed.
All right. Venture into the indicated position at the rugged mountains to enter the hideout of the Truche villains. Now, that's a little inconvenient for me because I'm going to have to double back. But I do want to get rid of Sprawling Greens for sure. And I suppose the one small virtue is that once I'm done cleaning that out, we'll also probably pick up the Surveyor drone, assuming that my other unit doesn't do that. But the one virtue of that is we'll be able to move back, take out Blackheart Rift, which has more growth units in it, and we'll be able to pick up some small gains as far as productivity is concerned.
Nothing motivates productivity in a population more than mortgages. The lure of property ownership inspires in individuals the motivation to perpetually improve their property value and provides an illusion of privacy. Phineas Shaker, Colony Financière.
Sorry, just 1 second. So I wouldn't have expected. I thought the accent was supposed to indicate it's my faction, but I wouldn't normally associate finance and mortgages with this group. That's kind of interesting. Okay. Now I'm well and truly lost. I suppose I should do energy development, seeing as I'm going to be annexing an energy sector before too long. And I have been avoiding colony infrastructure for a while, but I should also really be considering... I really should be considering the Cosmite Research Center as well. So it feels a little silly to be spending so much time early on in the tree here. But in this particular case, it works rather well for my expansion plan. So we'll spend 2 turns on energy development to get that plan in place, and then I suppose in future, the hope is that I pivot towards a little bit more of a science-based approach, and I'm able to catch up on the back end of the research tree.
Incoming communication.
Attention, comrade. You've constructed quite a holdfast there. Truly a jewel among gravel. I think at this point we will do the same. Your message came as a pleasant surprise. You should know that my people regard you with much respect. Yeah, we could do an alliance. Provides better defense against operations for both players while lowering each player's defense against operations they deploy on each other. Okay, I can live with that. I will also say we're okay with open borders and open relays. But I'm going to stay short of allow building on claimed sectors. Just because being able to get the Casus Belli, I'm going to be able to trade for that. Your proposal is very welcome. We think alike. Improving our diplomatic state was the right thing to do. A new treaty was formed. Review treaties in the treaties list to the right.
Sector annexed. Doctrine enacted.
Okay, so now we're getting some bonus damage against the heathens. Do I have somebody I can elevate to protector yet? I don't think so. Yeah, we're still waiting on that. Personality trait of Inessa discovered. We have discovered the personality trait of Inessa. Prefers dealing with players with low combat ranking and players with high reputation. Dislikes players that have defeated other players. Good to know. They are also a technologist. The technologist focuses their research on developing their secret technology, building units of that type and aiming to reach their doomsday weapon. Valian says, you like how cool that Volus is. Actually, I believe you can play Inessa in the main campaign in the base game. Did I do character creation while you were here at some point, Night Valian? I know you're probably going to be streaming soon, but if you're around by the end, I can actually show you the character creation, and we can make a special Devar just for you. Okay. I think I've got what I need this turn. This is a little bit more of a building turn, but so maybe for the next couple of turns, here's the plan. I'm going to take my commander. I'm going to at least clear out Sprawling Greens. There might be an argument for taking out the Marauder Guard here as well. It also looks like there is a supply stash, so maybe I want to take a slightly different path. So grab one of these, grab this, take these guys out. The biggest worry about these guys is that they'll spawn enemies. We'll have a chance to clear out the growth at Blackheart Rift, so I should probably take that chance. And then as we go to the west, we'll be able to fulfill our objective. There is maybe the small worry that this is not the strongest army that I could be fielding. It may not even be the strongest army that I have right now. Yeah, so this guy, even with without maximized units, actually has a little bit more going for him. But we've also got a decent enough little plan with the kind of the wall of paladins to be able to take things out. So, oh, okay. If you're not around for character creation at the end, remind me at some point to show you, because it's quite fun. That was probably the thing that first got me into the Age of Wonders series. Oh, hello. Well, that's kind of thrown my plans around. So these are the mushroom people we got to deal with again. As a reminder, well, I'll review it inside combat. For reference, this should clobber the bad guys. We're actually at max health, but I did say I'd start doing more tactical battles, and I'm not going to get any better if I. So I guess it's one thing for me to keep reloading, saying that I need to learn, but if I'm going to do auto combat that much, I really should be saying, okay, well, I'm not allowed to reload stuff because I feel that I know how the combat works. You can make the argument for sea-based combat because that was the second I'd ever done with this faction, but any more, and I think I'm starting to push credibility a bit. Do it and you'll catch the VOD. Okay. I actually have it in a couple of other VOD. All right, we'll see where I'm sitting at the end of the cast, Night Valiant, because I might want to get a couple of extra minutes for the base game. But I will make sure that I do character creation, if not this week, then maybe next week, and I will specifically delineate the time so that you can check it out. But yeah, I might have a little trouble doing that tonight, but yeah, we'll work it out. Okay, I did say I was going to review the units. This is going to be rather important because where is it? There's the volatile crop scatter, fire a volley of volatile fungal crops, viscous, 4 strength chance to apply immobilized to slow units for 1 turn, and then slow, 8 strength chance to apply slow to non-ethereal units. Then there's the hardened sapling cannon, hard impact demolisher, viscous, again, applies immobilized to slowed units, chance to apply slow, and then fungal infestation, which turns out to be really, really tough. Actually, you know what? Maybe this is... This unit is permeated with a fungal infestation, immobilizing it. On death, the unit explodes in a cloud of toxic spores, damaging all units within 1 hex for 14. Okay, so basically, here's the thing I gotta worry about. Volatile Crop Scatter is annoying, but not the end of the world. Hardened Sapling Cannon takes a full action to use, has an area of effect, so you can kind of get an idea of what it can hit. And it can stop units, which really sucks when you have melee units like I do. So for now, I'm going to need to make sure that I stagger my guys out. Poison Spray, Armor Melt, Poison, Anti-Air, and Blinding Mist, Armor Melt, Blind... Cool, okay. So basically, the name of the game here is as long as I keep my melee units far enough apart, we should be okay. Ah, damn it, really? Okay, I'm gonna put them behind this rock. I thought that wasn't gonna take the full move. So just verifying that this is the sort of move I want to make. Now, of course, normally I'd be taking these units and putting them all beside each other, but the circumstances are a little bit different here. I'm curious the furthest distance. Okay, yeah, he can still cause misery. Now, there's not a whole lot for this particular unit to be doing right now. I think in the spirit of grumpiness, I'm going to try and take out the artillery. And one thing I probably should have done before anything else was to actually move this... I kind of screwed up with this one. I should have moved them first so I could have got them at a decent distance. So they're gonna sort of be out of commission for a couple of turns while I deal with this thing. Okay, I can work with that. So first thing I need to do is pile on this guy. It's not going to finish the job. So I'll just move back a little bit. This may not be so useful.
Enemy annihilated.
Here I'm really just kind of getting the Oath of Loyalty bonuses on everybody else. So I can take out the Hopper. Yeah, I think going after the Hopper Hound is the right call here. It basically just ties him up. And then I suppose my choice is, do I want to try and take out the Hopper Hound on my own, or do I want to try some funny business? Yeah, I think I'm going to do this. So I am going to be flanked, unfortunately. But if I can take out the Hopper Hound, well, that's a moot point. Smack!
Enemy down.
Okay. So we're in pretty good shape. One of the things that I'm going to want to do here is kind of stack everyone together for kind of a nice big hug for that bonus. So I'll take advantage of the Volt Saber here for starters.
Enemy down.
So this guy hasn't taken any damage yet. I'm going to run on the assumption that we're able to take this thing out next turn. That may not actually be true. Actually, that's almost certainly not true. Right, he's blinded, so... let's do golden for starters. Oh, that's a creative solution to it. Should have seen if I could have done another emboldened then. Alright, well, this does the trick.
The predicted outcome.
It's a little more damage on our guys than what the AI pulled off, but not too much to complain about with that one. Okay, so I suppose the question is what I want to start doing with this guy. It wouldn't hurt to get a little more training in, so maybe we'll put him by sprawling greens and hopefully not too many units suffer as a result. Townsend Volley is ready to... Oh, so maybe we will have 2 sets of units ready for the organic food compound.
Production ready.
Okay. I'm generally happy with where we are in the production queue. I don't exactly need the botanical gardens, but I have a feeling that if I ignore that now, I'm just going to wind up regretting it later. There is a genuine question for me as to whether or not I want to keep Deep Sea Crack, because... Nah, I'm gonna sit on that for the maximum amount of time. Northbound Specialist sent... Yeah, let's do that.
Production ready.
I don't even really know what it does all that well, but I know I want it. Okay, so I can't remember who I said was going to become the residential area. Say that's Cherry Patio.
Production ready.
Okay. They're already working on their agrarian exploitation. That's exactly what I want. Got a recreational dome on the way. I do need to assign a lord at some point. Ooh, and we are short on energy, so if I keep building military infrastructure like this, I'm going to go in the negatives. We will have a workaround for that before too long when I claim in Raging Gorges. I suppose the question is, how long am I willing to sit on that while I still want to build units? Okay, I can't really neglect too much as far as military infrastructure is concerned, so we'll live with that for now. I think I'll put down a throne just in the queue, and we'll leave that be for the time being.
Operations primed and ready.
So yeah, I really do need to be thinking about my energy. It's not even necessarily for the military infrastructure, but the fact that I want to be fielding, I believe, a 4th full army. Okay, so I don't think this guy is eligible to become a lord. This guy already is. So if I give him energetic efficiency, it's better production and higher energy income as long as he's home. Yeah, I think that kind of goes... I think... Well, okay. There's two ways of thinking about this. One says, alright, so this place is going to get an energy tile. Alright, so what I'm trying to... No, you know what? This is actually going to be one of two changes I make. So yes, they are going to get energetic efficiency. We'll make him an infantry commander and range specialist. So here, he becomes Lord of Damister. Lord of Damister now becomes Lord of Truchet. Truchet can start affording to be agrarian-focused again. I might even convert Damister one more time towards a science focus, but right now this is going to be much more likely to become a unit production center. So it's better that I get that out of the way. It's going to take 3 turns for everything to come online. So the earlier I get that switch done, the better.
Electronic mechanisms employed by the Empire appear to have developed a passive-aggressive attitude towards abuse. If a device is mishandled, it may drain more energy than allotted in system specs. We suspect automaton activists to be responsible. Nonetheless, it's good to upgrade your infrastructure. Tate Oric, Productivity Conspiracist.
So we haven't annexed the sector that I want this energy sector upgrade for, but again, this is kind of about laying the groundwork for a lot of this work. I think I am going to do colony infrastructure. It wouldn't be bad for me to get research development taken care of as well. But the thing is, I don't have as direct of a plan in terms of what sector is going to get the research development right away. So but I can think of a lot of situations where I've wanted more cosmite. So colony infrastructure, even if it means that I'm not going to be building it sort of immediately, it's probably just as well that I get that taken care of as early as I can. Supply stash, you find a salvageable Imperial supply reserve containing 20 food. Unfortunately, the container logs are destroyed, and you can't trace where the resources came from. All right, where can we get you? Just hoping they don't get... Oh, I might have just screwed these guys, actually. I don't think they move off of their main tile, but if they do, this is going to be a very interesting battle. Alright, I really want to see how this unit works together. So, for reference, I'll do the auto, but... So this is a chance for me to try out the Bombardon, and I mean, we already kind of know how the Plague Lord works, but it's a chance for me to sort of see how all these units work in concert. Looks like they're focusing on my main force, which is not so bad because the force that they're ignoring is the one that has my artillery. So if I'm able to get them in some kind of a crossfire, this will be interesting. Okay, I don't think I have anything to... I don't think there's any surprises here. This one is able to try and mind control my units. So if I can get some kind of stagger on people, that would be ideal. Oh, I didn't even touch the bonuses on this guy. Okay. This is a little bit of a bold move for something like a Bombardon. I don't necessarily want it, running into the front lines. But my hope here is that I'm going to be able to get away with some other shenanigans. Okay, if I can inflict the Lash of Adversity. Curse of Fatalism. Yeah. So again, that's not perfect, but these are melee units, so these are the least likely to be a threat to the Bombardon. The ones that are the threat to the Bombardon are the ones that just suffered a bit of a setback there. It's a little weird that I'm not putting my knights up more aggressively, but again, I want to get the advantages of the Oath of Loyalty and anything that will let me inconvenience the enemy. I think I have better uses for that banner, so Overwatch gives me something to think about, and there's really no precognition for me to put on the table here, so we'll move them up and see what the next turn brings. Okay, so now the big question here is going to be, how aggressively do I want to try and take these guys on? I do want to make sure that they don't feel like they can just pile in on this Bombardon. Looks like I only have one sort of Paladin-style unit. Gift of Adamants. What's going on here? Target ally gains last stand, causing them to remain at 1 health when they would die. Okay, I forgot about that one. So this is going to kind of be the spine of my force. So we'll set up the shield. I don't know who I want to shoot the spike at yet, so we'll hold back. Okay, this guy is going to take point because he does get a shotgun shot off on the Acriminus. The rest of this is really just about getting defenses in place. Oh, interesting. He does get a shot off. So I think there's an area of effect attack that's going to cause some problems here. What is it? Noxious Pollen? Yeah. Also, theoretically, he could mind control. That's not going to work on the AI, or I don't think it works on heroes. I guess we'll find out. So we have kind of been beating up on this unit, but I think in this case I am going to go after the soldier bees. And this is just because they could potentially be coming after my Bombardon. So let's see what the AI thinks about this. Nope, they're mad at the Plague Lord. That works for me. So they'll probably put an ad. Yeah. That's not the most convenient for me, but I think I have some answers for that. That one might inconvenience me a little bit more just because I have to dedicate a unit to take care of it, but...
Operations available.
Okay, so they mostly just took the precogs off of some of my more worthwhile units. This is going to be a slightly trickier round, just because where I decide to attack is going to... That's going to have a pretty... It's going to have a pretty heavy effect in terms of how the overall battle turns out. So, I don't know. I feel like the fact that this just does so much damage. Yeah, I can clear this thing out, but... Okay. Next up, I want to see if... So the Scryer isn't the sort of thing that I'd normally think about as like a frontline unit. So in this case, having them take out the ad is really convenient. Now, it's probably a little optimistic for me to think I can take out... Yeah, the Entropic Lash on its own doesn't actually do that much. However, I have the slight chance that I'm able to wreck this guy's day. So I'm going to make sure... It's putting this guy in a somewhat dangerous position, but I'm going to move Rascal up. And then the hope here is because it's an 85% chance to hit this flanked unit, it winds up taking out sort of their... I don't know if this is actually the commander, but basically the thing that... Oh, this is a 90% chance. God. No, for the 5%, I want to be able to do some heavy damage to the soldier.
Enemy killed.
Okay. Did the job. That's what matters. Now. This is a little inconvenient as far as placement goes. Oh, but apparently I can just smash into this. Alright, this is the best feature ever for archers, just being able to smash your obstacles. This was the worst chance to hit, but being able to land it potentially opens up possibilities for my knights. No, it doesn't. Okay. That was probably not a good move then. Yeah, I don't actually accomplish a whole lot doing this. So I will give him the moral support. And let's see what else we can do to clear out the riffraff.
Enemy killed.
So I got a bit lucky getting a crit there. I'm going to get this unit to clear out the
Enemy killed.
The ad. I'll move my hero up. Alright, this is really just so I can spread the parasitic infection more than anything. Is there anything else interesting that I can do with this? That's unlucky. So if I did the lacerating tentacles... Okay, well it looks like the serrated spikes are going to be enough. Oh, is he locked in place? Yeah, he's immobilized. Okay, it's a flyer, but let's see if we can take this thing out.
Enemy down.
Okay, looking good. This guy's kind of boxed in by his ally, though. Oh, but looks like we do potentially get to take the bees down. Cool.
Enemy annihilated.
Okay, so we don't have a ton to fear from these units. If I play my cards right, I should be able to heal all the damage that people have taken without spending any energy. Okay, so the first thing I want to do here, we'll fire this off.
Enemy eliminated.
So, first question is, can I get this person anywhere they need to be? No, because they're entangled, so at this point it makes sense to self-revolt. So next question for this unit, can I get them anywhere that they're actually going to be doing actions, or that they're going to be like adding to the combat? Not really, however... they are able to embolden the main hero, which again gives them a little extra healing. It's a shame there's no line of sight there. Again, I gotta be thoughtful in the order that I do this sort of stuff. Okay, so I wind up having some friendly fire in that case. I don't want to do that. So here I'm just trying to set up some early hits to be able to know that this guy's soft enough that I'm going to be able to seal the deal. I'm actually a little worried I might successfully kill him there, so... okay, I gotta get a little closer to be able to do the embolden, or the... Okay, so everybody should be at max health now. The rest of this is just a matter of delivering enough damage to be able to call it a day.
Our forces are victorious.
Okay, we got our elite status. I was kind of hoping that the parasitic infection would wind up giving me some extra units. I don't actually think I've seen any grow out of that in this this particular playthrough, but that's fine. I mean, that's gravy. All right. Again, we've sold them to the vegetarian, so we got some extra energy for that. I always thought it was research. I think probably I just focused when it told me it gave me research rather than
Operations
that being
primed and ready.
Being a set rule. So let's queue up another one of those. Now we should be able to go directly into... So yeah, I suppose this is the question. Do I want to drop... Do I want to drop Deep Sea Crack for now, turn that into a forward base so that I can have the organic food compound, or do I want to wait? Who's getting... the housing sector is not going to be built for a while. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We will release it as a forward base, which does cost me... That does cost me something. But the extra food will help. And I think we're actually at a point where I might want to consider going straight after Forbidden Harvest.
Production ready.
I mean, I'm all for, you know, good relations with the growth, but if I can get some extra territory off of this, so much the better for me, right? Okay, allow them to retreat. This one I kind of got to do myself, so I will do auto combat just to see how the AI handles it. Poorly. So this is probably the right way to handle that that hero. So basically, there's not a lot of upgrading that can happen in my main hero's stack of units. There is, however, an aspirant that can one day become a paladin through my operations. So being able to get them a little extra experience helps me out quite a bit. It is worth remembering these are the guys who can apply fungal infestation, so I want to make sure that everybody's sort of stacked out. There's 3 of them on the battlefield, so I want to be particularly careful in terms of what's coming after us. And the way I'm actually going to handle that is just to go charging in face first. Now, I'll be honest with you. If I was the AI, I would fungal infection this guy as soon as possible, because that just locks them into in a choke point, and I don't really have a good answer for how to get around that. We'll see whether or not that's what the AI actually does, but it's probably that is probably the most reliable way for them to really piss me off. And before I do anything else, I should go back to my... I can't do that. Oh, I hate myself for doing this. Yup. I wanted that Overwatch so badly that I didn't pay attention to the... targets. Even that might still cause me problems. Yep, that was a real boneheaded move. Okay. So, I'm just basically going to make sure that everybody's in the same position. If they wind up gooping these guys, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world. It's really more the other units that I'm a bit worried about. So again, as long as they're moving around, I'm happy, because it means they're not using their
Operations ready.
their fungal infection abilities. Okay, so first priority for this guy is to get in as deep as possible and tie up one of the units. I'm a little surprised that worked. Now it is... Oh no, he's arc resistant. Okay, so that makes life even more complicated. Same story here. I basically want to be running in and creating as much inconvenience for the units that can tie me up. Now this unit's a little bit special in the sense that they at least have a gun. So I'm going to move them up here. If I move them up here, it still doesn't give them a chance to make me sad. Feel like prioritizing this unit allows this other one to close the gap a bit faster. Now, I don't think there's a whole lot for this particular unit to be doing. I would have done more over here, but I think this unit should be able to take out the baddies. This just gives me cover, so there's no reason not to. Now, if they want to be clever, they could get away. Oh, no, never mind. I misread that. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at. And we resisted the fungal infestation. That's good news. So we may not necessarily be getting a lot of healing in on this, but I think I can live with most of these outcomes. So that's a priority. So I don't actually mind having people come in and cluster up, as long as I know that the sources as long as I know sort of the sources of. All right. So why did he? Oh, he got hit by the immobilize, right. So the other thing is he's blown his opportunity to put fungal infestation on most people. So, oh, actually he's done for anyway.
As the oracle foretold.
All right, so we might actually be able to get away with a little healing. We'll see. This is to disable the melee overwatch, because then this guy's going to be able to move away and set them on fire. Yeah, actually, so there is not going to be any healing because we're going to destroy them. Cool. But that's fine. We'll just heal.
Outcome.
We'll heal on the next. We'll heal as the turn goes by. Okay, that was fun. I feel like I kind of know how to handle those guys a lot better now. And instead of losing that paladin aspirant, we got him some extra experience. Okay. I think I did say I was going to go to the Sky Shrine at some point. I think it's better that I face reality. Oh God, but it's got Cosmite. Oh Jesus. 1. I gotta do it. Alright, before I go too crazy, I'm going to be a scumbag again and see... Oh, apparently it's been a while since I saved. Is there really no... C? Okay. Central Garden Robot Reserve. This landmark is an advanced food sector and gives the following when annexed. 60 food, 30 entertainment. In addition, it unlocks the following to be built in your colony. Relaxation Center, Roy 2, and Emma 3. What happens in Elysium Park stays in the Elysium Parks. This is guaranteed by our surveillance exemption status. Elysium Parks brochure. I never noticed the hologram at the top here. I'm so innocent. Interesting. This is a lot stronger than I thought it would be. I'm almost certainly going to lose stuff in the auto combat. I just want to see what the AI would do. Fewer losses than I thought, but I definitely do not want to lose my Bombardon, which I keep forgetting to augment with mods. I also keep forgetting about the... Yeah, this is actually going to be a lot harder than I thought. This is a great map, by the way. This is like, so I point this out every once in a while about the game, but you know, little things like the fact that in addition, okay, so there's like little bits and pieces that you get from the character descriptions. So of course we've got the Emma 3 Tired of holograms? Why not let Emma 3 give you a try? This fully configurable female succubot will have you spellbound. Programmed in the arts of seduction, including cooking, cleaning, interest in your sports teams, and other unmentionables, Emma 3 lives to serve without all the shaming and judgmental stares from her friends. Because she's a robot and has no other desire outside of serving you. Voted most seductive 9 standard planetary cycles in a row, this model is sure to never tell you you've been naughty, unless you want her to. Unknown AdWorks Agency Archive, RV078A, Elysian Robotics account. And then, of course, you can get all the details about what they do. So they've got power fists, pistols. The thing you need to be worried about is the love pheromones. Target biological or cyborg unit must resist an 8 bio strength chance to become mind controlled till the end of combat. Fortunately, it's arc week, so as long as we can get in and hit it with our arc weapons, we should be okay. It's got reactive shielding, unfortunately, so if we try and take it at a distance, it's going to get better at sort of avoiding those. Not to be outdone, we've also got the Roy. Do we have a Roy? Nope, looks like it's all Emma's. Then we have the Paragon. I think the Paragon actually has arc resistance. Nope. They are actually apparently pretty good at getting status effects. Paragon Heavy Soldier. If you're going to infiltrate the Paragon complex, you'll need the keywords to get past the heavy soldiers. These ancient walkers are guardians to their colony of dreams. They only heed technoprofits. If our intelligence is correct, this week's passwords are in your data logs. If the intelligence is not correct, you'll want to run. Heavy soldiers are sure-footed and single-minded, so disorienting guild mind tricks won't affect them. You're not outfitted to withstand a blow from their heavy repeater guns or their shoulder demolisher rockets. So the strike missile's a problem because it's really good at staggering units. Fortunately... Oh, hang on, it's just a cooldown of 1, so they have multiple ones. Okay, well that sucks even more. And heavy repeater, which is a fairly strong weapon. Okay, I'm starting to think that this fight is going to suck a lot more than I thought it would. And then on top of that, we've got the Elysian Park's Merrick's Bliss. Defenders have a 15% increased critical hit chance every 2 turns. The entrancing atmosphere of Elysian Parks takes hold. Attacking units have an 8 strength chance to start hallucinating. So basically, we want to get in as fast as possible and cause some havoc, even at the risk of being mind controlled. Okay, Technoprofit, here we go. The madman called me from the hover pulpits. It's always been thus, he cried out. Prophets lead their fallen people. Here we build a colony of dreams, while the heavens scorch the world with fire. Just a few implants. Your friends are happy now. Join us. Cease wandering this world as one of the fallen. I remained hidden, preferring my fallen state to the vacant, drooling expressions left upon my traveling companion's face after the Technoprophet and his colony of Paragon servants welcomed them into paradise. Marek Nib, RV 22299X, Forlorn Fantasy Destinations. The Defense Blaster is an arc weapon. This is really going to hurt my guys. Wrath of the Old Machines is a full action. This thing hurts a lot, and it's a 2 hex radius attack. But the fact of the matter is, I need to close the distance. So I'm not going to make it easy for them to get advantages, but the fact of the matter is, if I'm able to... yeah, so here's an example. Like, I'm opening myself up to the Demolisher attack. The other thing that I'm doing... Well, yeah, the burning doesn't do enough. So I'll set up the Overwatch. Okay, looks like I do have a small attack I can do over here, though. Which is probably why this Bombardon died in the AI one. So she's got the reactive shielding. This won't be as effective as before. Alright. Oh, okay. There might be some hope then. I Hope Lash of Adversity also works for mind control. Again, the hope is that we're able to get our guys in, tie up the most threatening units in melee, and then sort of see everything collapse. We are on a pretty heavy timeline though. Oh boy. Still alive.
Operations ready.
Okay, let's see what I can accomplish here. So this guy's just straight up stunned. Okay. This does have an outside effect on some of my enemies, so the question is, do I feel comfortable? Okay, I'm going to hold back on this for a minute just so I can work out my turn. So this is pretty much a must for this unit. This gives me some retaliation chances. It also ties up the succubot. Same story with this unit. I'd be tempted to take on this one, but I want to try and distribute the attention as best as I can. So now the name of the game is to try and take at least one piece off the board. Before I do that, yeah, I just don't think that's going to have the effect I want. It's the fact that she's behind the... It's the fact she's behind this thing that's causing the problems. It's a flyer, but I gotta try. I mean, better than I was expecting, still not enough to finish the job. But I think at this point, I'm just going to throw everyone in. Cool.
Enemy destroyed.
Not quite how I planned that turn to go, but not bad either. I forgot that they could summon support. Ooh, I hope my Bombardon lives.
Unit under enemy control.
All right. Well, we kind of knew that was gonna happen. The question is, can I stun them into? This is gonna get hard. I might lose the unit.
Unit down.
All right. Well, I'm probably going to wind up redoing this combat, but I'm interested in learning a couple of things before I pack it in. Okay, so I need to take that unit out before it gets freed up.
Enemy eliminated. Enemy eliminated.
I guess Rascal is... Oh no, he is freed up. Okay. But my Bombardon is now hallucinating in addition to its other maladies. But I think the problem here is that I think this guy just gets taken out next turn as well, so... I was probably a little too eager to go in without modding these units. And it's also the end of the night, so I don't know if I really want to spend all the time trying to work this out. Actually, out of curiosity, are you still here, Night Valian? Because if you're here, now might be a really good time for me to show the character creation. How is this game? Telrea Best, I'm a big fan of it. So again, I do need to say that I was given a key, not just for the base game, but for the DLC, Revelations, Invasions, and as part of Invasions, it looks like they just gave me a season pass. So, again, as is appropriate, you want to disclose when you've been given stuff for promotional purposes. But with that in mind, I'm a big fan of the Age of Wonders series in general. And in particular, I think this one is very creative in terms of the science fiction world that it's made, and all of the fun that they have with it. What's it about? So the best way I can answer that question, if I'm completely honest with you, Telrea, is to figure out whether or not you've played any of the Age of Wonders series. I'm sorry to be, a little coy in terms of answering the question, but I think that'll probably be the most useful way that I can try and answer. Some fiction one? You mean fantasy ones? Because yeah, Age of Wonders 1 through 3. Are fantasy games. So, with that in mind, I could start by saying it's basically the science fiction version of this series. But like the problem was that when this thing was announced, that was kind of everyone's response. It was sort of like, oh, okay, so it's just like Age of Wonders only. Robot skins this time. I'm like, well, it's a little more than that. So basically, it's still a 4X game, and it, as with all of the other Age of Wonders games, basically you have these kind of larger-than-life heroes that wind up. I just want to see what's happening to my unit here. I do think I'm going to need to put some healing down on this one. Basically, the, Jesus, this guy's getting hit with everything. Your commanders, instead of having classes, they have secret technologies. Oh, actually,
available.
There's a huge opportunity for me here. So sorry, I'll answer you in a minute here, Telrea, but I just want to point out something. So the way that the AI's handled this, I get to move one of my knights up here, and then if I can get one of my knights right in the middle here, I've tied everybody up in retaliation strikes. The Paragon over here is going to be a bit of a problem, but there's some great opportunities with this. So can I stagger? Yes, my Burning Great Bow does do stagger. So your commanders, instead of having sort of a class, what they do is they have... Actually, you know what? I might just be able to straight up take that thing out. Maybe not so likely. I'm sorry, I will answer your question here. I'm sort of plugged in now. Okay, we'll do a cleansing light on the Bombardon because if I don't, that thing's gonna die. I don't think it has any cover that it can really take advantage of, so... Well, it doesn't have any cover in places that it needs it. So I'll get him to move up, and instead... we'll just drop Misery on it. Yeah, so the most kind of the material you'll feel the most familiar with, I feel, is when you're dealing with commanders. So in this game, it's still, you know, commanders are these larger than life figures that wind up doing, you know, lots of really cool stuff on the battlefield. They have sort of an outsized influence in terms of how the battles turn out. But what's really neat about this one compared to the fantasy games is that it's created a really interesting science fiction world, which on its own I actually think is, I think that counts for quite a bit. I think it's easy to take the settings for granted, but I do actually think that, like, I kind of want to know how the story turns out often. The campaign is wonderful. They've really kind of leaned into what's possible when you have a... oh, they're going to go after this guy again. Oh, no. I got lucky. So they're really going with a lot of the interesting things that you can sort of pull off in a single player campaign with all of the little twists and turns that the story takes. I think I just have to cleansing light this unit. But on top of that, they've also really, I feel like they've really leaned into making the strategic layer a lot more straightforward to use.
As the Oracle
And what I mean by that is the... actually, you know what? Let's see if my Bombardon can do... Yeah, I can do a little bit of the work. So partly
Enemy
here, I'm trying to
annihilated.
avoid more damage on this unit. Oh, actually, one thing I can do to protect it is to put the... What? Oh, that's not good. Ugh.
Enemy eliminated. As the Oracle foretold.
I think this guy's still screwed.
They shall be honored. Enemy
Probably should
killed.
have saved it when I had the advantage. All right. I really want to see if I can pull this thing off without losing units. I guess the good news is that it gives you extra time for the stream. But yeah, so the strategic layer of the game has been really simplified. So instead of worrying about, like in 4X games, instead of worrying about the individual, kind of the individual hexes and the amount of, sort of what the yield on certain certain resource nodes are going to be, you worry a little bit more about what's going on at the sector level, and that sort of leads you to kind of free up your attention to maybe other things which are equally important, but maybe don't get as much attention if you have to start focusing on sort of minute details. So I think they've done some interesting stuff along those lines. This thing like never hits, but I don't ever really have any better alternative for it, so. So of course, one of my mistakes has been to put this guy up too aggressively. But what else am I going to do with him, right? But yeah, so I mean, as a strategy game, I think it works very well. But I think maybe what interests me is that, so in addition to the standard game mode that you normally see in something like Civilization, what they've got is a game where, I'm just trying to think of the right way to put it. Like, the campaign takes advantage of the fact that the game really doesn't care if you win all the time. And they've made it so that you can, again, you get surprised by certain plot twists or, characters betray each other or whatever. And then on top of all of that, as if that wasn't enough, they've added a new Empire mode. So and again, I love Civilization. Please don't take this as being like, oh God, why isn't Civilization doing this stuff? But where in a game like Civilization, you have sort of the base game, which is awesome, and you'll play that forever. Age of Wonders Planetfall has the planet mode, and all of the different changes that you can do with that, and the fact that there's maybe a little bit more of a combat focus on this one than sort of comparable games. But in addition to all of that, you get... right, I think I know how I'm playing this. It's a pity I can't quite work it any other way, but it's better than nothing. This is just to get the stagger. There we go. Although, you know what? Maybe the right answer here instead is just straight up take them out.
Enemy destroyed.
Give him the get out of jail free card this turn. But yeah, so you've got the campaign if you like kind of a twist on the usual formula. You've got planet mode if you just want a standard 4X game. But there's nothing wrong with standard 4X games, by the way. And then with the new Empire mode, you get all of the variety of all the different classes and whatnot that you'd see in a game. Oh man, a lot of my guys are tied up. This is going to be a hard round. I have too many people who need healing.
Unit under enemy control.
That's bad. So I gotta find a way to get that thing taken out. Yeah, I gotta go for it.
As the Oracle foretold.
So this guy is out of commission because of Stunned and Broken Mind. This guy's out of commission because Stunned and Hallucinating. Okay, well, we can start with this unit doing its repeating attack.
Enemy down.
Just gonna see if this will be interesting to see if I can actually salvage this one. I think I've committed too much, but first of all, I want to see whether or not this actually frees this guy up to do stuff again. It does.
Enemy eliminated.
So we'll give this person Providence. We'll see if we can survive to the next turn. The other thing that I haven't been talking about is the fact that, oh wow, does this other guy fall?
They shall be honored.
Okay, so if I don't do the... One thing I want to know is whether or not that shield that I just put down, is that because... Did that make it a less attractive target, or was it always going to be...
Operations available.
So again, same story here. We drop what we can on the bad guy. This is pretty much essential.
Enemy destroyed.
The interesting question here is, so if I put the Gift of Providence on this unit instead, does this unit all of a sudden want to attack the heavy repeater, which I think it will, or was it always going to be attacking this unit? Fascinating. I mean, it's scary, but I think we're making it.
Unit destroyed.
Okay, so the question is, can the Bombardon deliver first? But yeah, so sorry, Telrea Best. The other thing that's good about this, which you're sort of seeing, is you've got a really good sort of strategic game on display here, but sort of hidden inside, you have this you have kind of this turn-based, almost XCOM-ish. Oh, that's so close to being good.
Enemy destroyed.
Okay, I gotta take the flyer. Basically, I'm trying to tie up as many units as possible in melee combat. That seems to me to be the only way that we can save the other unit. No!
Enemy down.
I refuse.
Are victorious.
I could have moved him back.
Operations ready. Enemy killed. A brave sacrifice.
So I've actually forgotten the order in which I wanted to do all this stuff. So we'll start with the basics. We'll get the Bombardon to do as much as we can to take this thing out. If I can reduce it down to the Paladins getting the work done, I'll be happy. Oh, this will be an interesting one, actually. So if I do the Entropic Latch... No, wait, I can't. Okay, I'm just going to pull this guy straight out of the combat. Let's not even make that an option. Okay, this better work. No!
Enemy down.
Alright, well, you know what? We're just gonna let this guy run around do his thing. I don't think he can kill any single unit on his own. But he can get close. Nope, he
Fallen
really
but not
can.
forgotten. Enemy eliminated.
Now I'm realizing how difficult it is to walk away with the whole army intact. If I'm going to be reloading like this, though, I should probably find a better place to get it done. I've definitely learned a lot more about what cleansing light does and does not affect, though. So that's a nice side effect.
As the Oracle foretold.
There is a slight difference I'm going to try here, which I don't think will have a huge effect, but I'm going to try it nonetheless. Oh, we can't put it on the unit I want. Okay. Well, doesn't make sense to attack my own guy, so I'm gonna have to use the Bombardon for that no matter what. The remaining question is, however, how much do I need to commit to take this thing out? I mean, this guy can get as close as anyone. Oh, here's a question. Can I give him crits? No. So I kind of got to hope for a miracle, which isn't coming. But there is a slightly different approach I can take. So I'll just try and push this guy as far back from the threat as possible.
Enemy down.
Okay. So this creates a few more opportunities. We'll move this guy up. So regrettably, oh no, hang on. Okay, so we move this guy up. He gets to beat the crap out of these guys. Now this guy gets to run around and beat the crap out of him. Now he still gets to do attacks, but the things that are in danger... Yeah, so if he moves to go to do the attack, we get an attack of opportunity.
Enemy destroyed.
Now I'm going to do something real classy. It's going to show why this is actually fast becoming my new favorite faction. Okay, he's technically not stunned, so oh no! Oh, this is going to be ridiculous. Gather around, everyone.
Outcome.
So after all of that desperate fighting in terms of getting everybody's health where it needs to be, we basically have a stack that finishes with full health at the end of it because of the Embolden. Which is one of the reasons I'm actually willing to completely shame myself by reloading reloading things over and over and over again, because sometimes you get to learn cool new things. You're actually going to see it right now, Telria Best. So take the rewards. I'm not 100% sure why we're suddenly in such a deficit. Looks like we got a nice new Roy. So basically, here's the, again, it's a hex-based game. Let's incorporate this into Townsend Folly. So basically, you start with an HQ. The victory condition for sort of taking out an opponent is to capture the headquarters and also to take out their hero character. So if for instance, if your headquarters is if your headquarters has been taken, it may not necessarily be the smartest thing to take your leader to lead the charge in terms of reclaiming your HQ. It might be better to take a secondary commander just so that you have the option to do a secondary attack. On the other hand, like, your hero is also usually your best unit, so you have a little bit of a trade-off in terms of what you may or may not be able to accomplish. Oh, I think I know why the money's so low. It's because Deep Sea Crack was probably giving me more cash than I anticipated. Well, that's unlucky for me. We'll be able to weather that storm for a little bit. So as you can see here, like, so the way that expansion works is that you've got your HQ here, and then you can have, in the base game it was up to 4 additional sectors. It looks like they've added some new mechanics in terms of how you can upgrade your settlements to be able to get even more. But for the most part, for the better part of this game's existence, you've been able to expand out to 4 territories. And as I mentioned, rather than worrying about what an individual hex is going to give you, what you worry about instead is what sectors give you. So for instance, in Townsend Folly, I've got some regions that are pretty good at generating food. One problem I'm running into right now is energy, so a very natural expansion point would be in Raging Gorges. The only reason I didn't take in Raging Gorges is because Sprawling Greens doesn't just have an energy node in the form of the exploration site, so this will give 10 research, 10 energy, compared to clearing this out, which will give me an additional, well, sorry, it gives 10 energy and then an additional 5. So the net amount is actually higher than the Sai Shrine. But this is actually, like, this is not a bad territory. This is pretty great because it has Cosmite, which is a strategic resource. So one of the things that you think about in terms of your colony placement is what tiles you sort of want to take around you. Maybe not tiles, but what sectors you want to take around you. There's still the usual, like, explore, expand, exterminate, exploit. But one of the things that I really like about this is that a lot of this has been really streamlined. So where in a lot of 4X games, you'll have your units, like the combat takes place on the hex map of the strategic layer. In this one, you go down to the tactical layer. And I would say the strategic layer is still driving the game. So I say it's kind of like reverse XCOM in the sense that XCOM, it's really clear that it is the tactical layer of the game that makes, like, that's sort of driving the bus, that's making it interesting and making it the sort of game that you think. But when you sorry, I'm just thinking the right way to put this. In the case of Age of Wonders Planetfall, the strategic layer is really the thing that you think of. It's kind of what you think of as far as the game is concerned, and the tactical battles are really good and well developed. But I don't know. For my own part, I tend to think a little bit more about the. I tend to think a little bit more about this side of the game. And I think on this one, this is one of the smaller maps. I can't remember what the settings on this are. I wonder if it tells you. Doesn't look like it. There are other victory conditions, by the way, but I'm playing the campaign, so I actually have a set of objectives. So one thing I am doing is trying to consolidate my position a little bit, and I'm about half an hour over, and it looks like we've had a little bit of a turnover in terms of the audience, so I think this will be the point where I wrap up. But if you have any questions, Telray, I'd be happy to answer them while I go through. So we'll think a little bit about what we're trying to accomplish. I actually think we might make the 600 reputation just by finishing the job in Truchet. Can you see the city? Sure. I mean, there's not much to see other than I think I might have even been inside of it already. But this is my headquarters, Townsend Folly. These are all the units that I can build. There's a lot of customization in terms of the mods that you develop. Oh, actually, technology I should probably talk about. Oops, sorry. But you do have infrastructure that you can build and whatnot. Again, it's a combination of the sectors that you've taken and the exploitations that you apply to those sectors. But again, it's kind of standard. There's no, like, you don't see a map in terms of where you assign the pops. You can just do that all here. Or, I mean, like, you can turn off auto and run it. But to be honest, I usually keep on auto just because I tend not to sort of think these things. Yeah, so those are sort of here. But again, it's important to remember that the way that those buildings will affect things will be much more focused on the benefits that you get from individual sectors rather than worrying about whether or not you have a particular resource within your hexes. So it's a similar idea, but it's not necessarily going to be the emphasis has sort of shifted in terms of the individual I guess what those individual buildings will get you. So for instance, in Townsend Folly, I'd say the buildings that would probably be interesting in that regard would be like the military skirmisher barracks, the specialist training center, because they give me access to particular units. Maybe another example of this would be water sectors, production sectors, food sectors upgrades. These are related to the individual sectors that I've claimed in order to get an advantage in regards to a particular I'm not sure what you're saying here, Telrea, but these would be, again, these are related to the individual sectors that you get. That's going to be affecting your overall collections in terms of items and whatnot. Similar with Recreational Dome. So if you consider happiness to be a resource, and in this case you sort of can because you do get bonuses for having a happy pop or having happy pops. In this case, I'm just sort of breaking even, but this will be another case here where if you consider that a resource, sure. And it's not unfair to say so because there are units like, I think this is a Stadium Arcadium. Yeah. You'd be able to get your some happiness from that. I just don't think of it quite as in the same way as some of the other resources. But yeah, I would just generally say the thing that makes this game appealing enough to me is that it is very familiar territory when it comes to 4X or Age of Wonders games, but maybe not so. Like, it's not what everybody said this thing was going to be, which is a reskin of the old Age of Wonders games. It's sort of, I think they've thought quite a bit about what makes this game interesting and what differentiates it from other 4X strategy style games. And what they have done is they have simplified the interactions with they've simplified the interactions in terms of some of the strategic decisions that you'll make as far as resources are concerned. I definitely feel that this is a much more military-focused 4X game than maybe some of the others. But not so much so that all of a sudden you've lost all the other X's in the genre, is maybe the right way of thinking about it. I'm actually going to say, so I wanted to finish the turn, but I've actually decided, I actually think I have another idea about how I'm going to handle this. So let me wrap up in terms of saying what my future plans are going to be. So normally I would finish out the turn, but it actually just occurred to me that sometimes the problem I have, we had an example of this when I was chatting with Night Valian immediately after my 10-minute mark. There's actually a really natural move for me to make, which is to clear out these units over here. Have a good one, Tare. So basically, I can just go into the combat right away at the start of next stream. So I've saved myself some combat. I mean, maybe I'll forget in a week. It wouldn't be the first time that that's happened. But at least gives me some decisions to make right off the bat rather than people waiting for me to finish chatting. Once we take Sprawling Green, so this is actually going to pull me off of my objective for a little longer than I thought, but basically getting my commander to clear out the Psi Shrine and then clearing out the Cosmite. I might even just do Cosmite first, then the Psi Shrine. I'm not 100% sure the order in which I'm going to do that. But thanks, Olaf. Obviously, I have long goodbyes anyway, but I am noticing the hour. I'm noticing the time going by, and I actually have some stuff I need to get done. I need to send out a resume before the end of the night, and I'm already late in doing that. So, but yeah, so I'm going to clear out Sprawling Greens and get the Cosmite. And again, this is just because I know, this isn't theoretical. I know for a fact that this sector is coming into my possession. I'm also short on energy, so the ability to be able to make the most of your hiding so you could say bye. The advantages of claiming this aren't, this is one turn away, so I want to be able to leverage this as quickly as I can. What else? This part of the map I feel is in pretty good shape. There might be marauders that pop up, I don't know. I'm probably going to get another CB against the Dvar. Excuse me. I'm probably going to get another CB against the Dvar. The thing that's funny about this is that I actually don't mind that the Dvar are taking these spots. Yes, it might be nice for me to be able to claim the derelict power plant. There aren't a whole lot of other energy resources immediately available to me in here. There's a good science one. I might want to eventually claim the Cosmite. Yes, there is this derelict power plant. However, it is on geothermal hazard. So if I incorporate that into my territory, I'm going to suffer the consequences. It's, there's going to be a few things that make this hard to work with. But the one thing that's nice is that the more CBs I get against the Dvar, even though I may not actually go to war with them, if I ever need a shot in the arm economically, I can just do a negotiation. So I'll give you an example. Let's talk. So what do you give me for this? 320 energy to basically say... They flow a chopper at you as well. You have some time now. Am I going crazy? Sorry, this is like the third thing I've seen in chat that I don't really understand what's been said. I'm kind of worried that I'm like really misunderstanding what's going on inside of. They flew a chopper. What do you mean flew a chopper though, Olaf? Yeah, but like somebody, you're being picked up in a helicopter? Oh, okay. No, I get it. Ah, yes, you're still playing Fortnite. Okay, I'm sorry. Now I understand. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, No Name, thank you very much for the subscription. Get to the D&D Space Chopper. You know, No Name, I don't get a chance to see... It says you've been subscribed for 26 months. I see you on the list. I don't check the list very often. Oh, wait a minute. Did you just change... Did you just change your name? I feel like... No, hang on. I feel like you were in this channel under a different name before. Or am I really losing my mind here? Because I actually just recently checked the list, so... It's been a while checking back when I was covering Cultist Simulator. I technically still cover Cultist Simulator. It's just been moved on to... onto YouTube on Wednesdays. If you haven't been checking those out, by the way, I'd love to know what you think of them. Okay, I apologize. Cultist Simulator 26 months ago. God, it's been so long with that. Okay, but yeah, no. So maybe I do. I'm sorry. It's hard to keep track of the names on there, but one way or the other, I do remember you simply because I don't think you actually get to have a resubscription live on cast very often. So I wanted to specifically shout that out. Thank you very much for doing that, particularly because I know I'm not doing it as regularly on Wednesdays anymore. That's partly because I'm kind of waiting for Book of Hours to pop up. But it'll be coming. There was a recent update, so I'm sorry. Like I said, I do long goodbyes, so we'll eventually get to the end of this. But I can't let that go by without mention. So thank you very much. And yeah, now, so yeah, sorry, Olaf. I didn't register that you were in Fortnite, and of course, I wound up getting you killed for something that ultimately is going to be going on for longer. So I appreciate you doing that as well. But like I said, there've been. I didn't want to say, like, if I don't get it, I'll say it. I don't want to dwell on it too much on any given moment, but the fact that there was a big string of stuff that I didn't understand, I actually felt really bad about that, and I was a little worried. So now I can rest easy. Okay, anyways. So I don't plan on going to war with these people. I don't really think they're... Like, I'm not that mad that Galactic Heights isn't going by. Getting more CBs mean that just means that I'm able to cash that in for more energy when the time comes. I'm actually slightly curious as far as rankings. All right, so we're not the strongest in terms of might. So there's an unknown force that hasn't quite shown up yet. I am also mildly curious. So if we were to put an end to the war here, they still want 150 and 30 energy, which again, we could probably afford under normal circumstances, but I want to keep all of my energy. And again, the more growth that we take out, the more resources I get. So yeah, we're going to clear out the riffraff and sprawling greens. My commander is going to cross over into Blackheart Rift, clear out the growth there on the way to the objective. I completely forgot that there's geothermal instability, so I may not actually want to claim this sector after all. Either way, it still makes sense to clear... Oh, actually, maybe it doesn't make sense to clear out the growth because the geothermal instability is going to affect my units there as well. It'll depend on how strong the force is. If it's a small force, then we should be able to take him out in time. And then when all is said and done, we can move on to the final location, which is Norzadal. Now, my original plan was to cross the lake, but it might actually make a little more sense for me to just straight up take Forbidden Harvest. And then we, take the land route to the new sector. I'm not sure. It does. I mean, this is where claiming deep sea crack does sort of make sense because being able to have a somewhat clear water path to Norzadal. Norzadal has two fairly good aquatic tiles that it can claim, one with cosmite, one with food. Now, it might be that it's surrounded by like paradise, and there's actually a bunch of really good stuff that I want to claim here as well. But overall, like this is a pretty nice little area of the map. Like, other than the fact that my borders look a little weird, I'm reasonably happy with the sectors that we've been claiming, and there are some sort of natural extensions to my territory once we build some colonizing units. But I guess the other thing I can say, within the next 2 or 3 turns, I do want to make sure that I've got my house in order as far as energy is concerned. Part of that should be fixed once we incorporate some more territory, so the energy that I was missing from this tile should be coming back with Organic Food Compound 5. We should also be expanding quite a bit quicker because Truchet is taking from the other territories, which are generating a lot of food. And then finally, we'll have the Sai Shrine, the Cosmite. And while there's not going to be any energy other than from the Sai Shrine, we are going to have the production, which will allow for greater development inside of Truchet, and just generally will put us on track. Anyways, I think it's time for me to call it a night. Let's see who is streaming this evening before I move on. And I will just remind you, it's, I think one of the reasons why I've been a little more self-conscious about mentioning the press key is so that I can, because I've been talking about how this game is currently on sale in the Steam autumn sale, 66% off for the base game, and it's about 50% off for the DLC if you already have this game. And then, what else was it? I think the season pass. Let me see what the season pass is actually. It doesn't say what the season pass bundle is for me because I already own the game. But if you get the premium edition, it's 66% off. So let's work that out. So 3501, which should give you everything. The base game is 1937. This is all Canadian dollars, by the way. Okay, so Canadian 1937, if you buy... I really wish the music didn't cut out while I was in another tab. So 1937. And the pre-order content was actually pretty good, so I am going to include that. It's $284. Oh God. Okay, yeah. If you guys think you might want the DLC for any reason, so I took just the stuff on sale. So that would be Age of Wonders Planetfall base game, the pre-order content, deluxe edition content pack, Revelations and Invasions. So that would be the first 2 DLC, then all the little extra stuff that you would get in the premium edition. Oh, you know what? The premium edition may not include the pre-order content, but that's $2. That's a $2 difference. So if you get the stuff that's just on sale, it's $49.58. If you buy the Planetfall Premium Edition, it's $35.01. So basically you save $14.57 and you get Star Kings. Whereas if you spend more, you don't get Star Kings. So if you think that you're going to want to get the if you think you're going to want to get like the whole package, if you know that you like Age of Wonders, I definitely recommend the premium edition. The price difference is about, where is it? Sorry, this is not it's just small enough. My window's just small enough that I'm not able to see the two at the same time. So basically, the price difference between the base game and the premium edition, which includes all the DLC, is $15.64. If Star Kings currently is not on sale. It costs $22.79. So you can consider it as like getting sort of, getting Star Kings at a discount and having the other 2 DLC thrown in for free. For other reference, Invasions is $11.39. So for basically $5, you're getting the difference. I think the premium edition's a pretty good deal. But again, it is $35 Canadian, when clearly there's a lot of other games that you might be interested on sale. So it depends as to whether or not this is your cup of tea. But I really like this game. There's a reason why I've been doing this on Mondays a whole lot. And I suppose for those of you that are interested in picking up the game, do consider the premium edition if it's affordable to you. For those of you who maybe need some more convincing about the game, I'm not sure. If you want, I mean, my VODs are on YouTube, youtube.com/systemchalk. I think pretty much you can see me start each campaign and see a little bit what it's like setting it up. Other than that, I'm not quite sure how else you'll decide. But anyways, I've been taking my time on this. So I think I'm going to change it up a little bit. I noticed that No Virtue is actually still streaming. I'm sorry, I don't have a YouTube link yet. I should do that though, Olaf. Actually, you know what? Okay, I'm going to do a shout out here. So No Virtue is currently playing some stuff that she picked up on the Steam sale, but I think she normally finishes around this time too. Please do check her out if you haven't already. I should raid Night Valian though, because right now there's only one person watching, which might mean that it's him. And I think it'd be really nice if we could maybe boost the number. Night Valian is definitely a very relaxing streamer to watch. So I feel a little bit bad about it because it has actually been a while since I've hosted No Virtue. Please do check her out if you haven't. She's also someone who has been involved in quite a few Paradox things. So, for instance, the streamer battles when it comes to Stellaris, for instance. But Night Valian is actually playing kind of a neat game called Diluvian. So I hope you all enjoy it. I'm going to be, so on Tuesday, there's going to be some more. So tomorrow, there's going to be the Morrowind VOD. I'll try and be in chat for that. Wednesday, I'm back, and I'm still not sure if it's going to be Industries of Titan or Phantom Brigade. Same story with Friday, but one way or the other, it's probably going to be a Brace Yourself game, and I'm really looking forward to whichever one that is. So have a good night. Please treat Night Valian well, and we'll see you next time.